to go. So it's been a good one, man. I hope you guys enjoyed all the talk here today. We just got out some more NVIDIA. You know my stop around 346 there for Tesla. Yeah, two big ones there. NVIDIA, I only traded 3 names today. NVIDIA, AMD, and Tesla. I hope you guys had a successful one. Okay, that's Neil. Good job there today. We're going to go for your walk and enjoy that one. We're going to hit the gym. We're going to go into that sauna. We're going to figure that out as well. Thank you so much. Enjoy your tilapia for everybody that's having that today, as that will be for what's for lunch around here. I'm hoping to get a little tuna on top of the salad. That might be nice. I would go for that as well. Yeah. Okay, that's Neil. I'm Sean. Ciao for now. Midday show.
Now I want tuna. Oh, got a bunch of fills here, Joey Options. Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey Shivers, and I am Sharif. And yeah, I think it might be cold in here, relatively speaking. Shout out to everybody who we got in the chat. We got Jack CW, Custom, All-Time High. Shout out to BD Gaming and Darwin the Trader, a.k.a. The Real OG. Shout out to LSG 2012. We got Parabolic FOMO and Flow Grade. All right, let's go, man. Where are all the people at? We got VK Thug, KT. Shout out to Brown Lighting. City Boy 305 out in Miami. B Dollar Mar, shout out to 420 Bud Monster coming from the other side of the pond. We got Maximus 1138 and Disco 22. Shout out to Ronaldo. Shout out to Beef Strogie Joey. Seth 8154 and F1 Mercedes. Bobby Axelrod joining us as well as Damian Tarsa. We got Other Zinc, the OG Other Zinc, Martin 1882 and TVD 1007. Same shirt guy. I like that one. Danny Koo, K002, Ticker Checker. Shout out to Durant Gordon. All right, we got, who else, man? Sadiq, J Dizzle, 13737, and Adam James HPN. One more, Joey Options. Oh. We got Party P. I definitely like that name. Shout out to Party P. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day.
Let's go.
Yeah, good morning, Joey.
Yeah, what's going
Joey, on? I don't know who to call you today. Is it Joey Options? Is it Joey Shivers?
I'm good with Shivers, man, because it is definitely cold up in this joint here. There's no questioning that. All right, guys, kind of off to the same start that we had yesterday. Choppy, some good opportunities. Let's break down what we were trading in Bitcoin, looking for the continuation on this gap up that we experienced from the overnight sessions. And then sure enough, we enter, and then I obviously, as I get out here, I sold too many, and then I just bopped right back out. But this one, we go substantially heavier. Workout, take a small win on that one, try it again, doesn't work, and then you double bottom right at 63.95, and then you kind of make that leg up there. So that's unfortunate that we didn't get to participate in that one, but that's okay. We struck out on IBIT. It was the saver of our session yesterday, so we like that. So so for me, what I do is if I have a good session on a specific ticker, I'll go back to it the next day, right? Why not? Just continue to try to milk something. Again, we're here. I might strike out on ETHA as well, considering 0 for 1. 0 for 2, and then now we're back in it one more time. Okay, I'm not going to sing anymore today. But anyways, there it goes, right? So if it breaks this low, I'm just going to hop out, strike out on the crypto space, and I think we're going to have to be a little bit more patient on this one, my friend.
All right, Joey, a couple of trades, few trades. Let's get to them. First and foremost, PTNM. This is a holdover, excuse me, from yesterday. It's up 32 1/3% today. A couple of beak wetters already on this. The spread is opening up because this one did cross my order here by I think a penny or two, and it did not print, but we've got a couple of orders. What got me into this trade was a retracement into the volume weighted average price. Let's see if this one holds up and can take that 2 1/4, because we've been above 2 1/4 today, 240 high. But look at this area top over here. You could see the sellers using that $0.25 as their precipice to get in, or the profit takers using that area to get out. So looking at PTNM, let's go to the next trade. Working my way into this one, AQB just printed a high day of $1.60. It was really consolidating up a storm in and around that VWAP area. I want to say it had a range of about $1.30 to $1.40, but as you can see there, it really popped through that range, and that's where it printed that $1.60 high. So we've got 52s on right now. Show me 47s. Anything below the volume weighted average price at $1.40 ends this trade. It's as simple as that. This one I just worked my way into, and as quickly as I worked my way in, I got out. MOBX, this one did lose volume weighted average price, so we'll take a bit of a loss on that one, very small loss. We should be able to work out of that, no problemo. So MOBX doesn't look like it's holding the volume weighted average price. In fact, it has a 6 candle pullback right now, a red candle pullback off the high of $1.35 with no green candle to speak of, man. So not exactly a glowing endorsement for a long. So my focus will be on AQB and PTNM. There are others. I want to talk about them. There's OPAD, there's SOGP, CWD, THAR. We'll cover those in a minute. Just want to take a couple of beak wetters on some of these trades to de-risk, and then we can kind of focus and see exactly what's going on. And as per usual, guys, if there are small cap gappers that I don't have on my side chart that I didn't speak about, there's probably a reason. And because these markets move awfully fast and these small cap gappers come and go pretty quickly as well. So tag myself or Joe in the chat. Let us know what's moving, and we would absolutely be willing to look at it for you. In fact, I would appreciate it myself just for my own trades. So here we go, Joey options. AQB coming into that 53 print. We can't print, though, because there's a seller there. So no prints right now on AQB. We got 52s on. Let's see if we can wet the beak at 53 and then maybe a little bit higher to take out that 160 high a day. I am kept optimistic about this trade. Reason being, the prior candle, albeit red, was a bullish engulfing candle. It was engulfed by a green candle preceding it. It also didn't reach the 10 EMA or the volume weighted average price. So if we can shake the seller here in the low 50s, talking about 52s and 53s, we should be able to see some greenery possibly here to the high side. Just before we send it back to Joey options, I want to bring to your attention SOGP. So this one was, momentarily, I was discussing with myself whether to take this off the side chart because it was losing VWAP and it looked like it may lose prior resistance at a 560, but here it is, $1 removed from that area low or that prior area of resistance, now support. 550 now it's working its way into. SOGP, guys, is up 70.25% on the day, so it probably behooves us to keep an eye on this one, Joey options.
Absolutely, yeah, Havana, I agree with you. I was literally just thinking that. So essentially what I was, considering the run that we've seen over the past couple of months in Ethereum, I think it's going to take another couple of weeks, even a couple of months for this thing to really start pumping again, to be honest with you. So that's usually how it tends to work. We crack this support level, then I'll just hop out of it and then we'll go 0-for-3 on that trade. But that's okay, we'll figure something else. And I mentioned before, it only takes one good one to kind of get that can roll and kick the can down the street. Where I mean, that's no, you don't want to kick the can. What did I say that for?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't mind kicking cans. I've seen a can or two in my time.
Isn't that when you croak when you kick the can?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I got a lot to do.
We don't want to kick that can. No. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff to do, man. I got a lot of places to go. I got to see some parts of the world still. I need to get over to Asia and see what's going on over there.
Say more about that.
Yeah. I need to go touch down. I want to see the Ganges and all that stuff there.
Crazy.
Yeah. Even though I heard it's mad dirty, but oh well, you got to see that stuff and what's cooking. But anyways, what I'm looking at here, guys, we're just going to sit in this Ethereum until it cracks 34.50. And then once it does, then we'll just hop out of this trade. Kick the bucket is maybe that is the one that I was referring to. But anyways, enough is enough. This thing sucks. Maybe we just hop out of it because I do believe that we're going to break down. That the downtrend is still fully intact here. You can see it just kick the bucket? Yeah.
Kick the right away.
Right away, man. You missed that stuff up, jail right away. Okay. So I mean, I took a little scalp on Tesla here this morning as well. 34.50.
Yeah, of course. Russell Peters, bro. Come on, man.
What do you say?
34.50. Come on.
I never seen that one.
Where are you at, bro?
I'm here.
All right.
But yeah.
He hasn't seen it, Neil. I mean, I don't know what to do.
No, I don't know. I know what
Neil's displeased. I know what I'm man knows what's going on as well. He doesn't like it either.
That's all right, man.
Is this thing on?
Everybody.
Is this thing on? Be a man.
Do
the right thing.
Boom.
Come on, Joe.
Get him, Neil.
Come on, man.
It's Canadian.
Come on, man. You're
right
Canadian,
away.
bro.
Yeah, right away, man.
Right away.
Jail, right away. With that being said, we're out of this one. Just taking paper cut after paper cut. So what are we going to do right now, Shreve? We're going to go over the top performing sectors on the day and see what we got going on. And let's pull this one up this week. Let's actually go over the major averages. Okay, it doesn't want to display that right now, but we only have one green sector or two green sectors on the day, and that's going to be technology up about 0.4, and then the communications just holding on by a thread. These guys, what's going on over there?
I'm laughing, man. Can I have a chuckle?
Yeah, but who you guys
need a license to chuckle?
Who are you guys laughing at?
No. Katina Man's talking about stuff we probably shouldn't be talking about.
All right. There you go. So communications holding on by a thread.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Financials pretty strong, relatively weak there, about 0.1% down. And then we have the real estate down 0.7. We have healthcare down 0.75, and then the consumer staples down 0.9 right there, guys. So yeah, that's the top and the worst performing sectors of the day. Now on the week, wow, what is IWM up to? Up almost 5% on the week, and then we have the Qs in second place, up about 1.8%, and then SPY 1.5%, the Dow 1.5% as well too. So shout out to small cap world, obviously.
Man, I love that.
Oh, what's up, Randy? You're standing there.
BYD is eating Tesla's freaking lunch, dude. Okay, so there's an anchor on CNBC. His name is Wilfred Frost. He used to be back in the day. Then they sent him over to England to go on Sky Sports. So he's back filling in for Joe Kernan. Super interesting story. They were asking him about Teslas and stuff like that. He's like, look, number one, Tesla price point, it's like buying a Benz, okay, out in England. So the price point super high. And he's like, these BYDs are filling the streets of London as Ubers, as taxis, because number one, they're super cheap, so costs are low. Number two, in London proper, you get some sort of incentive, tax incentive for driving electric in the city. So he's like, they're just populating everywhere. That's with the numbers, and you got to hear what he says about the quality. He's like, you get so much car for your money. They know how to make a car, and let's just call a spade. They'd put our cars out of business if they were allowed here without 100%. I can't wait to hear more about what you have to say about that. Yeah,
we'll talk.
Sorry, just midday rant there. I couldn't, I couldn't just see Randy and not talk about cars. Guys, I want to talk about SOGP. I got a lot to talk about today, baby. This is taking out highs aggressively. Very aggressive move here through 7. We were talking about the support here at 560. It just blew through 723 high, dropping back down now into about 695.7. Let's see if it can hold this level. SOGP, baby, 84%, looking to take out more here. Zigging and zagging with that $7 area. I'm going to keep my eye out on that. Definitely interested to go back long on this one. Let's see if we can. We got stopped out here a little early, which I don't like. Let's go into that, and then we'll go just like that for that many shares. Let's let that one cook. Taking prints on PTNM, but I really want to focus now on SOGP because this one is breaking out and breaking out aggressively, Joey. 707, so you feel maybe we got to that 7.25, we pull back into that whole dollar. Now what I'll be watching to see if we can hold this 680 area. The reason I say 680 is because that was kind of the breakout area there. You see all the candles were kind of rejecting 680, so you've got a bit of a level, a support zone, let's call it that, between 7 and 680. So I don't want to get it right at 7 and then have to DCA back into 680. I'd rather get my initial entry closer into the 80s, and then that way I'll know if I'm wrong awfully quickly if it loses that $0.75 area. So that's what I'm looking at right now, Joey.
Yeah, let's go over to Dara there.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't plugged in. My bad.
That's all right.
Keep an eye here on the Nasdaq. We're having some EU reports. Apparently, the EU is suggesting cutting their tariffs as part of the new agreement with the U.S. They're proposing tariff reductions to implement this deal between the U.S. and the EU. And apparently, part of this presentation includes a lower U.S. tariff proposal. They want a 15% auto duty here. Keep an eye here on the market with that in mind. Again, U.S. and EU reportedly continuing to negotiate these tariffs.
That's what we want. More deals, and more deals. Joe, if NVDA breaks close above 185, where do you see Bitcoin and ETA at Monday open? I don't know if there's a correlation between the two. I get it that you're kind of referring because when Bitcoin moves, the Nasdaq moves, et cetera, et cetera. I think Bitcoin is a slightly leading indicator from obviously some things that I've read and watched. It tends to move before the overall market. So I'm not going to correlate the two and say I don't know where the crypto space is going to be compared to what NVIDIA is going to be up to. So we'll just leave that aside. But there it is, another double bottom here on ETHA. Do we take another swing? Maybe. I guess like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but I'm just not in love with it. That downtrend is still fully intact, so we have to keep that in mind. And I'm going to NVDA above the volume weighted average price, and CoreWeave not doing too much either. I was looking at Rich Tech Robotics to see what it's been up to, considering that it's been on a monster run the past couple of sessions, and then sure enough, slowly starting to die out here, moving sideways throughout the session today. So that's all I really got going on right now, Shi.
All right, Joey. Keeping my eye here on SOGP, couple of beak wetters through 7. We got 98s on. Still looking to defend that 80 penny level, looking for 85s to see if we can get anything in and around that area. Also taking some beak wetters on AQB. Looking for that one to kind of zig and zag back to the high side. But I'm keeping my eye here on SOGP for that hold of that 80 penny area. I will give it to about 69. So let's go ahead and throw that in now. Oh, wow. There it is, right back into the high side. So we'll wet the beak there. There's a seller at 10. There's been a seller at 10 for a hot minute. We can't shake him. He just died. Sorry, bro. Shouldn't have been sitting there. So there we go. We're taking it out. Now we got 90s on. We're showing 10s. Let's keep, again, he came back. Little punk. So let's take out more here. Guys, that seller at 10 is a staunchy little bugger. Look, he's back, man. So that short seller or whatever algo is taking profits at 10 or getting short at 10 is bigger than we expected there. We got 89s on now. Not a bad look here for SOGP, but definitely looking for that explosive top takeout.
Oh,
that 723, that's the high of the day. I'd like to see us break into the 20s to attempt that move again. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye on right now. That's all I've got on that I'm really focusing on. The other ones are kind of taking care of themselves. This one is the one that is more parabolic and more volatile, so it requires more of my attention, Joey. So I'm going to focus on
Yeah, absolutely. One. Okay, yeah, great call out on IonQ right here, D-Wave. Really, really nice.
Oh,
yeah, let's go. Dunzo,
they killed him.
Just like
he
that.
died again.
He's done.
Poor guy.
Just like that. He's not even going to jail. That guy. He's right away. RGTI. What's up with the quantum space here? QUBT, let's see what that one's up to, quantum computing. Yeah, I mean, we're rocking and rolling here. So, I mean, if we can get a pullback, I think this ship has definitely sailed. Nice indecision prints around the lows. Maybe there's a potential short there as well if that closes as an inverted hammer. Just keep your eyes out. We do have that engulfing candle. Or do I run back to Tesla or do I not? I don't know. It's a great question. But again, holding those lows, the Nasdaq climbing higher, and then you have Tesla hovering below the volume weighted average price. So good stuff there. Way to rock and roll with the overall market there, Elon and company. Obviously being slightly sarcastic, but at the end of the day, you just got to take some of these trades. And there it is, guys. I think we might get that inverted hammer close right here on IONQ. Let's see if I can short this thing or I have to order locates. Lovejoy. Yeah, thanks, Katie. Obviously, much appreciated. But again, engulfing print, second largest volume candle of the day. Now we're getting that gravestone doji right at a high. I think there could be a potential short right there, Sharif.
Yeah, well said, Joey Options. All right, guys, I'm continuing to watch here as SOGP. Look, I got to pack my patience because the pattern is there. The chart pattern on the candlestick pattern, on the 5 is showing me 4 green candles in a row. Each and every single one has higher highs and higher lows. So I don't want to, take out too much too quickly and then have this thing squeeze into 8 and then, hate my life because too aggressive at too quick of a time. Here we go, 7 1/3 again. We know 38s is the high of the day. We just worked back into 33s. Seller now at 29 showing up again. Here we go up into 31s, 33s again. This is what we rejected last time. So 33, that's the staunchy seller at this level. Kind of okay with that, the third of a dollar. Not an area I usually use as psychological resistance, but one that's showing up nonetheless. So let's see if we can get through that 33 area and work our way closer to that $0.50. I've layered my orders, resting orders that is, to take advantage of the price spikes because as I've mentioned many times, these ones don't stick around in any one price level for all that long. So we got another minute left or so on this current 5-minute candle. And there's that 33 seller again, and there is the rejection of 33s again. Let's see if this new 5-minute candle helps boost that, and it does. Right back into the high of the day, but we're not taking any prints here because we've already taken prints of the high of the day. So now waiting for prints in the 40s. We took one there at 40. There's the other one, Joseph Wilson, into the $0.50, baby. Let's set up now at 55s. Let's see if we can get something into that 55. How many outs do we have? No, we don't take out too much too quickly. All right, let's continue to watch here. 44 is showing. All right, still putting in higher highs and higher lows. The chart pattern on the 5 is not telling you to get out yet. At least that's not what I see. So I'm packing my patience here. Let's see if we can get through that $0.50, Joey.
Absolutely. Jam Mossy wanted me to tell you that these marijuana stocks are starting to run a little.
They are, man. They are. Dude, look at Tilray. Look at Tilray on the daily. It's breaking out. I was looking at it this morning when I was doing the prep. Have a look at Tilray on the daily.
Yeah. Let's get this weed stuff over in the States declassified. So shout out to the, yeah. So there you go. Get
That's
that downgrade.
That's a multi-day run.
So yeah, hopefully we can rock and roll. All right, guys, I'm going to do something that we probably shouldn't be doing, but again. Yep. Hey, man, that's what I do though. I'm just that guy. Hey, dude. Dude. You know what? Be a man. It's right, says my guy Neil. I got you, my brother. I'll do everything along those lines. All right, so you can see we're short the overall market as Ethereum, you hot piece of garb, continuing to sell. What's up with that? As I just mentioned, I believe I have somewhat of an understanding. Yeah, we got to tell them how it is, brother. But there we go. Short this market. Let's see if we can get into the volume weighted average price. Only how many pennies are you risking there? About 30 cents or so. VWAP is going to be that primary target. Got to keep an eye on some of these mag names just in case that they want to start running. So with that being said, Shreve, I got to adjust some of my charts.
Absolutely. We're looking here now at AQB, guys. So not too many outs left for SOGP, and it's a little far removed from our entry, so we can rest a little easy. Maybe I shouldn't say that because now it's going to tank. But AQB, we got 39s on. We just scalped up into 47s. I've layered my order now at 48 and 49. Let's see if this one's got the juice to kind of get back into the high side. So my perception here with AQB is that it's got little respect for VWAP or the 10. It seems, for whatever reason, to be basing its support level off the 20. The 20 will always be, guys, the yellow line on my chart. So there you go. You get a double bottom off the 20, and then you've got multiple wicks now that have also defended the 20. But what I'm looking for, I see the higher lows. That's not in question. The higher lows are cool. But now we need higher highs. And the thing is, we're not spending any, reasonable amount of time to take profits in an orderly fashion into these highs. Every time you pop into the high and make a new high a day, you're being sold off aggressively. So pick up on the characteristics of the small cap gapper that you're trading. If they have a propensity or a tendency to do that, and by that I'm talking about making highs and then retracing really aggressively, then you probably should be using resting orders, because unless you're super quick with it, and I'm not, I don't want to be doing that. All right, here we go again. Oh my goodness, Joseph on SOGP. Here we go. We're taking out 50s. We didn't get that high 60s print. So now we're going to set up at 75. Right on 75. This is the last profit taker I have here on SOGP. So we've got high 50s. And 50, but we don't have any in the 60s, sadly, despite the fact that the high of the day is 65. So now it's showing me 50s, 66, Joey. All right, so now we're not $1 in the money on this one, and we won't be $1 in the money because we're going to take it out at 75 if it hits it. But I think this is still a pretty good trade. It's 70 high right now, so we need about 5 more pennies off the high to get printed. I'm waiting exactly at that 75 penny area. Here's 60 again. Another higher high and higher low on this current 5-minute candle. So the trend, intact for the moment, and has been intact, guys, since the candle that opened up right at 11. So it's been a very consistent higher low, higher high pattern right now in SOGP. Let's see if that continues. Back now to AQB because we still got a lot of shares into this one, and I want to scalp a little bit more here. We're going to wet the beak here to de-risk a little bit, Joey. Full disclosure, I flattened out break even on PTNM. It got back into that $0.25 and sold again into that $0.25, and that was a lower high. So I said, the hell with that, the heli with that, and I got out pretty quickly.
Absolutely. I'll give you, you know what, bro? I'm going to give
sir.
you credit. You're really good at finding these momentum names.
And I'm not good at it. It's the scanner up top the screen.
Yeah,
Joey.
but
I got nothing to do with
but
it.
you still got to put the ticker on your chart and everything
that.
along those lines. Also, so I think someone might have turned the air even up more, to be honest with you. I'm like,
There's no way you're more cool.
crazy.
What's that, Adira?
I think Joe may be alone in that sentiment because I do not feel any difference in terms of the air. Also, you're in a hoodie, so where is the air entering?
Thanks, Ram. It did get colder. Thank you, Fabian. Like, I'm not just making this stuff up,
Bro,
man.
you're not inside. Sorry, I probably shouldn't say that, but it's funny. It's funny.
Look, she's got the hood on. If I could wear my hood right now, I would. Hoodie Mellow. You guys remember Hoodie Mellow? Yeah.
Joseph Wilson.
Yes, sir. What do you got? Dollar? Man, money. Yeah, let's go, man. We're starting to cook up there in this TQ short as well, so this is working out pretty good. We want to hit the volume-weighted average price. I have my eyes on all the Meg. Google been going absolutely monster. Is this a new all-time high on GOGS? Let's take a look here.
I think so.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
I'm
brother.
pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
Is it
No
not?
one's talking about this here. GOGS, all-time high right there, man. What a monster name. I've been saying, with these mag companies, it's just like every time someone starts talking smack, just buy them because it's better for you. There we go. Bap. I don't even know if I can do that, but here we go. TQ's starting to cook up a monstrous storm here, Sharif. We're going to start piecing out at the volume-weighted average price if we can run into that neck of the woods. The thing is, though, P8 VWAP is different than what I have over here. So data starts at 6 a.m., data starts at 4 a.m. on the other one. So, yeah, we got to keep an eye out on this. But this is what we're talking about. All those losses, unrealized, essentially all wiped out right now. But again, that is unrealized. We're not there just yet. Tesla taking an absolute monster tank. You don't want to get involved in this name just yet. Let's zoom out and take a look from the daily to see what's going on there. Breakout starting to come back in. Horrible registration numbers coming out of the EU. We've seen it in the likes of California a couple months ago as well, too. Registrations down.
Bro, can it get any worse? Are they going to start getting negative cars? Are people going to start returning the cars? Like, what's going on over there, bro?
Let's not beat around the bush on the fact that, yeah, we get it.
Come real with it.
That Tesla obviously is an extremely popular car, but the business is a tough one, man. The car business is a tough
there's no
business,
question about that.
considering what we've seen in the likes of Ford, GM, and some of these American names as well, too. It's a tough business. And you got to think, it's essentially...
I've said it before, and I want to say it again, man. These American influencers that review cars,
like our
dude, and like you can't buy these guys because they've bankrupt cars. We're talking about Fisker, Marquise Brownlee, Marquez Brownlee, excuse me, Doug DeMuro, Forrest something or another. I always forget his name. It's not Forrest Griffin. It's Forrest something.
Forrest Griffin.
Anyway, dude, these guys, they speak so highly about these Chinese cars. They do. And, you know, they're not allowed in the United States, so these cars have to be brought in at 100% tariffs, and then they're distributed to some of these reviewers, these car reviewers. And Joe, I mean, you just don't hear them speaking that way about some of the domestic cars.
No, I don't think so. I mean, they're expensive. Everything is extremely expensive. I don't know what the cheapest car you can buy brand new is here, but it's probably north of $25,000.
It's got to be
brand
new.
Like, and I'm talking like the lower end, whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's an extremely tough business, and that's what I always say about Tesla as well. You got to stay forward-looking with the name, considering we have robotics and autonomy kind of he has them in the pipeline, and that obviously is going to move the needle if and when he just starts to dominate, considering that we know it takes Waymo over around $250,000 just to make a vehicle, when Tesla can spit them out for 30, 40,
That's
40
the silver
grand,
lining, right? The silver lining is the Model 2, and we're going to get to all that obviously on the news, but it's just tough to see, man. You know, because it's all self-inflicted. Let's just call a spade a spade. You know, you may applaud him for speaking his mind when so many CEOs choose not to, and you know, are super vanilla in exchange, obviously, for stability and everything else that comes with that, but with not speaking your mind. So you may be a proponent of that, and yeah, I can completely see that argument. But you also may be a shareholder of Tesla and have seen, you know, a huge devaluation from the highs that are almost into $500, and you're probably not happy about that. I kind of fall in in the middle somewhere, just personally. I'm a Tesla shareholder. I've been a Tesla shareholder going on a year and a half now, maybe a little bit more. And yeah, it's a wild ride. But I also am a big champion of free speech. And we do a lot of that on this show. We speak our minds, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And so I definitely see both sides, and I can empathize with both. Hey,
these guys are just lingering in the dark, man. That's my fear. Don't pop around the corner when I'm around, because he might catch a little bait. I remember Obi, I was walking, we'll go to Adair in a second, so I'm walking from the train, and Obi tapped me on the shoulder, and like around the Wellesley train, he almost caught it, right? He did this, and I'm like, if any sort of, I'm not even gonna say, if a vagrant were to do that to me, I'd be like, it'd be not even, I wouldn't be like, hey, do that again, and you're gonna have a little bit of an issue. But there we go. Adair, what do you got going on?
Yeah, what a transition here. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, which has been mostly in an uptrend since we made these lows back on Monday below that 110,000 level. When I say lows, of course, I mean local lows. That is just above that 108,500 for BTC. Now, we are struggling a little bit to hold up at 112,500, but generally speaking on the daily chart, we are still near these highs, and we're still making these higher highs and higher lows if you zoom back to this double bottom around 74,000 back in April. Now let's talk about American Bitcoin. Now, American Bitcoin is a company that is going to be going public via a special purpose acquisition corp. They're going to be merging with Griffin Digital Mining. Apparently, they're set to go public as of early December. If you're looking to trade Griffin Digital, is GRYP is the ticker. That's GRYP. Now, again, Donald Trump's sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, have actually backed American Bitcoin, and the vast majority of the company's shares are actually held by the Hut 8. Hut 8 has, I'm seeing anywhere from 80% to 98% of these American Bitcoin, or I guess that where they own not 80%, 98% of American Bitcoin, because it hasn't gone public yet. So yeah, keep an eye maybe on Hut 8 with this as well. This is the CEO of Hut 8, Asher Ganut. But either way, keep an eye on GRYP, soon to be American Bitcoin. Again, early September is where they're expecting for that merger to be completed. And it is worth noting here that we have some interest from the Trump sons, and of course, a large majority of this company is owned by Hut 8. Back to you.
For that, Adara, that's interesting. That Joseph and I were talking off camera right now. We're like, it's funny, nobody owns the trademark or the copyright for the name Bitcoin. Well, decentralized, so anybody can just use Bitcoin in their company name. Can't do anything about it, which is super interesting, because I never had considered that until that point. All right. What's his name there? Who's that?
Who is that? Tell him.
No. It's good. It's good. This guy's ready to fight today, I can tell.
Okay. When I'm cold, man, you know what I mean? It's just like, hey, we got to warm up somehow, you know what I mean? No, at the end of the day, guys, we're getting a little bounce in some of these bigger names, and you can see that being reflected here in the Nasdaq 100, the TQ's double leverage right here. So yeah, we started piecing some out. VWAP was the primary target. I am still holding on to a little bit. Maybe we can add into this position as well, too. I'm frustrated because
TNM is $10 in the money on Tesla, right?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
He's killing. Yeah, he's crushing it. That's the thing, right?
So
just one big trade on the day, and that was an example in which we seen yesterday. Is that I was chopped throughout the whole day, and then right around 1 o'clock is when I had the ability to kind of just bounce and put in a solid one. So I'm happy that this worked out, but again, it's just not big enough. I didn't make this position big enough.
She's giving me the finger, Katina, man. Like, isn't that like a fireable offense or something?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Gotta go talk to HR about that one.
HR's over here, bro. That's the thing. HR's over here.
Is that HR?
Yeah, that's HR.
Can I get in on that?
You could? All right.
Can I be HR?
Oh, wow. All right.
What
all right,
HR guy?
Buvin, BTAI, not looking bad, Buvin, at the high, the day 4.25. Shout out to you, Buvin. I'm throwing that on the side chart. We're not going to execute on it now. I just want to cover the settings for my scanners. So I'm going to bring this down. Everybody's going to have different scanners and different settings. Okay, but mine are super simple. I'm looking for the top percentage gainers. If you're able to, kind of load up these packaged scanners, top percentage gainers, top percentage losers, most volume, most active, halted, closest to limit, up, down. There's just so many pre-programmed ones that you can choose from. So I choose top percentage gainers. And then I add my filter. They're super simple filters. I filter everything below 85 pennies. So my minimum base price will be 85 pennies. The reason for that is I just want to know about the ones that are on the way to $1. I try to avoid trading the ones south of $1. Some days are light and we'll end up getting involved in those, but I try to avoid them. So 85 pennies, the idea here is just to have anticipation of the ones getting into the $1. Then I also filter by minimum volume. I don't want to see the ones that are gapping up a ton of percent, but doing like a few 100,000 shares on the day, at 2 o'clock. That's not really the move. So I filter by volume and I put minimum 250,000. The reason I put 250,000 and not a million, which is really my real base, is because I want to know about the ones that are making the move in the pre-market. So in the pre-market, sometimes they're just warming up and they really haven't printed a million shares of volume yet. That doesn't mean they're not going to be good. So I put 250,000 and I put 85 pennies. That's really it. Okay, with respect to the filters. Then I kind of go on a little bit more. Let me just move this up. And then I choose the columns, right? The data that I want to see for the small cap gappers. So obviously I have the price, I have change percentage, but I also have change percentage from open. Why do I do that? Because change percentage starts populating from 4 a.m. Change percentage from open starts populating at 9:30. So this one, for example, SOGP is up 65% from 9:30, but up 105% from 4 a.m. So I like those data points. Then I have the gap scanner, the gap percentage, excuse me. The gap percentage is telling me how much it's open, what percentage it's up versus what it closed out yesterday. Then I have the volume. I have average volume to get an idea of how much volume more it's doing today than it typically does. And I also have the 5-minute volume. I want to know if this one's been doing volume now, recently, or was doing volume earlier on. Maybe the best trade's behind it. So I want to see that volume profile. Is it increasing or is it decreasing? So those are the ones that I have on. There's just so many more that I can put on there. And trust me, there's quite a bit, and it can be a little bit of an overload. But yeah, play around with that, see what works for you guys. And those are just basically the settings that I have on. So yeah, that's it there. I also want to look at PSTG for one of our viewers. I forget which viewer asked me, but he asked for a long-term perspective, PSTG. So let's look at that. First of all, it's called Pure Storage. It's a $25.75 billion market cap. It looks like it reported yesterday in the aftermarket because it spiked up at 405, typically news or an earnings report. Thank you. So it continued up above that $70 area. It spiked up to 73. It absolutely holds yesterday's aftermarket move and then frickin' some on the way to $80, $79.19. So that's the 2-day look on PSTG. Let's go to the daily. Let's get an idea of what this one's been doing. Well, guess what, man? This one had its worst year like many stocks did in 2022. But since that time, oh baby, we've been moving up. And since the lows in 2022, this thing's up 250%. Not the biggest I've ever seen, but not bad. It definitely had some consolidative times here with that double top back in May and November of 2024. But look at that. We cleared it. And unless there was a previous all-time high, I think we are at all-time highs. In fact, we are. This is the weekly. There's the double top on the weekly. And there's the monster price spike from $58 the low yesterday, or this morning, excuse me, 55 low yesterday to 79.19. Looking to take out more. It's up 30 freaking percent. For a $25 billion name. So guess what? It looks fantastic. I don't know anything about their business other than the fact that they do storage, but the price on the price chart usually tells you not all, but a lot of what you need to know.
Yeah, it definitely tells you a lot of what you need to know. There's no questioning that. So yeah, all right, guys, we got to break even here on TQs. I think I'm going to try to get back in, right? So if we do get any squeeze above this level, fail to construct a new high of the day, so that would be putting in a lower high, then maybe we can get the continuation. So, yeah, there it is, just holding that level relatively well. So it's unfortunate that we just got stopped out break even there, but I think there's going to be another opportunity for us to get involved. Now, let's take a CRM. Yeah, let's take a look at Salesforce here.
Get it, Joey.
Salesforce, yeah, continuously grinding higher. I don't know why it does it. Sharif, on some of my charts, it'll show VWAP, and then the other sometimes it'll be like, hey, I can't display VWAP. See how it's giving us
because
that
you're using,
bro?
you know what I'm talking about. You're using
yeah.
advanced charts.
Yeah,
I'd never have a problem with the other ones. I don't know why
you think it'd be a little advanced.
They don't even look advanced. They're just TradingView. Yeah. It's TradingView's API.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure exactly what it is. But I mean, it should still work half decently.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So,
of course. Yeah.
Come on, man.
That.
Shout out to. I watched a little bit of some earnings report yesterday and some tasty trade individuals on I forget his name, Sonsonoff or something like that. I'm sure Adara remembers. But at the end of the day, he's just talking about NVDA and how it was going to probably stay within its expected move to the downside. So yeah, he was 100% right on that one. It seems to be the case. But now we just need some of these mags to start cooling off a little bit here, guys. So there it is: Google, Microsoft, Apple. This was NVDA, and then we have Amazon and Tesla. But there it is: market starting to take an additional leg lower there, Sharif.
All right. Shout out to Nubian Rack. She wants me to look at SoFi. So let's have a look. SOFI. It's fantastic. Who can say anything bad about this? 3 3/4 on the day, respecting the 10 EMA like a dang glove. Up into $26 territory, $25.97. That's the 5-minute, obviously, on SoFi. Let's flip. Let's go to the hour, get a wider perspective. So I'm assuming this 26.62 was all-time highs. Let's take a quick look there. Yeah. Well, let's just double check here because, Chamath and whatever. No, we're not. After the de-SPAC, we're still south. We're real close, guys. Real close to that all-time high. That all-time high manifested on the week of February 1st of 2021. It got all the way up to 28.26 exactly. The high of the day today, 26.61. The high of the day this week, because I'm looking at the weekly, 26.61. So we're real close here to all-time highs. That looks like a hell of a rounded bottom. You could even make an argument for a cup and handle with this outlying area over here because of the tariff tantrum. So I probably would be biased to say that this cup part of the cup and handle, or the handle part of the cup and handle, probably would have held up if we hadn't sold off aggressively in April as a result of the market pulling back. But it recovered as quickly and then some. So SoFi, I really don't have anything bad to say about the company. I think that they're on a solid footing, just from my understanding and my perspective of how things are going. But on the day, look, Nubian, it's beautiful. I pick it up off the 10 EMA, if that's what you're asking. Let's see if there are any resistance levels you need to be concerned about. Yeah, it looks like 26 is probably going to be a bit annoying just because it's a support level from not yesterday, but the day prior. We were using 26 as support multiple times there midday. Implied balance open, held 26. It held 26 all throughout the day. Then all hell broke loose when the market started selling off on Tuesday. Into the afternoon. It lost 26 and it hasn't regained it since. So, yeah, I'd be looking for resistance at 26, but if it clears that, yeah, you're good.
Good stuff there. Yeah, I knew he sold Think or Swim, but I didn't know for that much. So good, congratulations to him. 400 million, so 400 sheets for that one. So that's a big time deal. And he's still out here trading options, which is very, very, married to the game, I guess, at the end of the day. Tesla continuing to bleed. So Katina Man just printing up a storm.
Crazy.
He's still kicking it here. So never mind the sauna or anything along those lines. When you're this hot, you don't need any of that stuff. So, all right, nice, good look there. And then also we got Google starting to come back in as well too. But yeah, keep flushing, brother. There's none of that stuff around here. Boom, sell it all. All right, what should we look at here? Let's take a look at some options chain stuff, considering nothing crazy going on right at the moment. So Donald Trump, please tweet something or say something absolutely ridiculous. Well, I need him to. I need it right now, Adara. I need him to just come out and
start that.
Yeah,
we got enough to do with having to watch what the man tweets. We already have Caroline Levitt coming through at 1 p.m. today. Maybe that'll provide some excitement. I am okay with him staying quiet on the truth front.
Caroline.
I need him to say something absolutely ridiculous and like the hottest take possibly out there. Let's take a look at Microsoft's options chain here to see what we got going on. If we're going to find anywhat of a bounce or a floor Let's go to next week's expiration cycle. Any substantial levels on the put side? I'm not seeing anything from an OI aspect. And then over here on the call side, nothing crazy as well. To go to the king of the chip space, that is going to be NVDA 185, 93,900. So there we go. We have a call wall right there. So that can be a continuous flush on that specific price level. 184.50 is where we ran into earlier in the day, and sure enough, we've rejected that level, Sharif.
All right, couple of things to update you on. So SOGP is still going. So we've been done this one for a minute, but it's still going. Let me just bring in the side charts because I want to cover a new one here. So SOGP topping tail. So be on the lookout right now. Topping tail into 839, and then all hell is breaking loose to the downside. But as we've talked about many times in the past, these topping tail candles are not the end all and be all on small cap gappers. It is not the same thing as seeing it on Tesla, Microsoft, Apple. It just doesn't mean the same thing, okay? So doesn't mean it won't tank, but I just wouldn't put all the stock into one candle on a small cap gapper. It's still holding 7.5, which, believe it or not, is still a higher low relative to the prior candle. So SOGP giving back a little bit here, but absolutely rocketing up on the day. But there's another one. And I'm going to get to yours in a second, Bovin. But RZ, or RZ, for all my American friends out there, RZLV is going nicely, about 15.75. It's not up like that much on the day. RZLV, let's just throw that ticker on there. 361 high a day. As you can see, that green line, unpenetrated. It has not been breached. So this one, I would say, look to pick it up off that. Otherwise, we'll pause for a second. We'll send it to Adara at the big desk for breaking news. It might not plug.
Behind Eli Lilly, I'm seeing Sky News report that the company is going to be discounting the cost of its weight loss drug, Mounjaro, in UK pharmacies amid a price hike. Apparently, a confidential document is actually showing 83 pound savings on the maximum dose of Mounjaro. So again, Eli Lilly on watch. Sky News reporting a discount for the cost here of Mounjaro in these UK's pharmacies amid a price hike. So interesting story there. If I get more details, I'll let you guys know. But again, British weight loss drug price watch for LLY. Back to you.
Thank you. RZLV is taking out highs. Here we go. It just popped through 360, 364, 17% now. So this one is continuing to go very, very consistent in the higher high, higher low pattern. Keep your eye out on this one. But I want to bring the one that Bovin brought to my attention, BTAI. Oh, look at this, Joey. We're long this in the sim from 290. Ooh. We've got 100 shares only, though. That's not that much. So BTAI, great look here, Bovin. It sold off very aggressively yesterday. It looks like it got going there at 7:30. Not sure what that was about. I can go back and look at the news blotter, but that's not really here nor there at the moment. Pops up into $7. Then by the time 8 o'clock comes around, this thing's like lost half its value or thereabouts. It closed out at 8 p.m. yesterday at 386. Let's see what that percentage move is. This thing was down 45% yesterday. So where are we off to this morning's lows? We're up 18% off this morning's lows, not yesterday's 8 p.m. close. So it's not a bad look on the micro time frame, but when you're looking at the macro, certainly you're going to encounter some resistance levels here. The first one I'm thinking about is that 12:30 p.m. spike yesterday at 440. It could be 4 1/3 to 440. You can expect resistance there. If we really clear that area, then I'd be looking at 4 3/4. You have an area over here that 4 3/4 found support at, and you also have it over here right at 8 a.m. 4 3/4, 4 3/4, say maybe to 490. You're going to get some resistance there initially, but doesn't mean it won't continue to go up. Up 6.6% this morning, Joey. But there goes our ZLV into 369er. It is now up 18 2/3. There's 370, another high of the day. This is squeezing up, and it looks awfully good. Time for me to load it up on the trading screen.
All right then. Let's take a. Someone's saying XRP about to dump. That's the 2X right here. So yeah, it is getting smoked right now. Let's go to UXRP. I believe that's just the. No, we don't even get that around here. All right, so that was short-lived. Wow. Okay, so a high of $68. You're now down 45%. Havana Woody, EPA. my friend, EPA, what is going on here? That is not a good look in some of these, especially in these 2x leveraged ETFs, man. You got to be really, really cautious, especially when you're in bearish territory, because you just get absolutely your bell rang on that one. So holding on to those 2x levies. So extremely, extremely dangerous game to be playing with that one. So, all right, what are you guys looking at? Let me know if there's anything that's popping, continuously trading higher. Let's take a look. Let's head back to the quantum space to see what IonQ is up to. We'll head to the 5-minute. I got it on the daily. Still hovering around those highs. I like our chances on this potential short signal right here. So maybe we'll get involved in this. We have that. We have this engulfing candle right here, and then an additional strong print. So maybe we get that move back in towards the volume weighted average price. But if you continuously knock on this door and then it doesn't crack, then you might have to just get out of that trade. But risk profile is relatively defined. It's pretty wide, 70 cents. That's quite a bit. So maybe we'll just have to size down a little bit. And once it starts working, then we can build into full size. Adair, what do you got for us?
Keep an eye on Disney and Keurig Dr. Pepper here. Bit of an interesting catalyst. Apparently, I'm just seeing a note here on X. Keurig Dr. Pepper and Disney advertising are joining forces to, quote, redefine the playbook for connected consumer experiences. This is a story I would like a lot more context on, so if and when I get that, I'll let you know. But apparently, they are doing an advertising partnership involving weekly integration. So KDP and Disney on watch. Back to you.
Been at Disney World or Disneyland?
When I was really young,
Same,
yeah. When I was really young, I went on the House of Terror or whatever it is, where you got
Florida or LA?
Florida,
Orlando.
Tower of Terror. Thank you, Adair. Yeah, I did that one, and then a couple other rides.
I hit Epcot Center. Epcot? That was it. It was all tech stuff.
So you got to make the venture back. But my friend was telling me that is the one in Florida. I mean, both of them are just ridiculously expensive. It's like $1,000 a day just to get in the door, and you have to do multiple days and stuff there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So went to the one in Orlando when I was 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And then I went to the LA one in 2015, took the nephew and the niece. And that was pretty cool, bro. But as you said, it was just like you got to bring a lot of money.
You got to bring a lot of money. Yeah, I remember a lot. Well, I remember quite a bit there. My grandma made me eat some craft dinner. I'm not good with eating.
You didn't get any churros, bro?
Brother, I didn't know. At that time, I didn't even know what a churro was. I was probably like 9 or 10.
It's the world's most expensive churro. That's what I noticed. Yeah.
Well, did you see what Wonderland was doing?
What?
So
funnel cakes?
No, but okay, so you know how there's the pizza outside of Wonderland? So it's like if you're hungry, you go there. It's across the street, everybody goes there. So the pizza outside of it started charging the Wonderland prices because everyone was going there. And it's like, it's not the same. It doesn't hit the same as the Wonderland pizza.
We should visit them, Joey. Visit them and straighten them up. Yes.
Yeah. There's also the wing spot across the place from Wonderland. If you want like the de-inflationary prices, because that's what my friend and I will do. We'll just get like a drink, get a pound of wings, and then walk right back to Wonderland. So pizza is not the only option, guys.
Hey, there you go. Pizza is not the only option.
Is there any protein anywhere around Wonderland? Any discounted protein?
Discounted? No, you're not going to get the discounted. I mean, you can probably find some tenders somewhere along those lines for $30.
Joey, I just need to bring this to everybody's attention. Guys, OPAD is breaking out. It's not just the RSLV show or the SOGP show. It's OPAD. It's up almost 60%, and here we frickin' go. We're above 5. We're into that 5 1/3. So now you better bet your bottom dollar your boy is going to be weaseling in here if we get a retracement into that $5 area. So there we go, OPAD. It seems like it's small cap gapper day today because there's a lot going. A lot of them are at highs. They're not pulling back. They're holding technical areas. Make those type of observations.
Wow.
What?
No, this is a great.
Yeah, bro,
great
it's just continuing to go, man. It's a rocket ship right now. OPAD is the one I'm talking about. This one's on the New York, guys. We're going to pause for a second, send to Tara. She's got news.
Keep an eye on Intel. Intel CFO making some comments here during an investment conference saying that apparently the company has received $5.7 billion in unpaid CHIPS Act grants, but that they're being transferred to the U.S. government stake. Unlikely that this is anything that's going to be super moving. It seems like basically what we already knew. The U.S. government is transferring the CHIPS Act money to their stake in the company. But either way, it's worth noting INTC CFO apparently speaking right now, guys. If you're in this name, be aware. Back to you.
Cautious when Lip-Bu is about to speak.
Don't forget.
People don't forget. People do not forget, Sharif. I can tell you that.
Oh God! Just tell us, Adara. Just come in. Yeah.
Okay, so the Intel CFO just said something pretty wild, and I'm just going to read the quote.
Read it.
This is about the CHIPS Act. There were certain concerns around whether we would hit any of these milestones surrounding their CHIPS Act funding milestones. So that is a bit concerning.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're very happy now that they just have the stake and they don't have to worry about the CHIPS Act. But either way, yeah, a CFO of Intel saying that they had a lot of issues about whether or not they would be able to meet their milestones with regards to the CHIPS Act. They're at a Deutsche Bank conference right now.
We made this argument many times. They weren't reaching the milestones and they were getting the money anyway. And now that the U.S. government's invested in the company, you think they're going to hold back money from them? I mean, that was the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing. I actually think that they're just going to probably continue to not meet the milestones. I mean, maybe Lip-Bu Tan will do a little bit better. We know that he didn't like how Pat Gelsinger was running the show, and that's why he left the board about 9 months before he became CEO. But yeah, I mean, Lip-Bu, we'll have to see what he does here.
Thank you, Adara.
Let's get down to the point.
Go, Joey.
Can Intel ever recover from this? I don't know. Do you think?
Okay, so in one of the videos that I made an argument.
Yeah.
I said, if the U.S. government takes a stake in Intel, not just the fact that they have an ownership stake, Joey, but they want control over the production, the manufacturing of advanced semiconductors. They don't want to be in the position where they're relying on Taiwan Semi only to, God forbid, find the People's Liberation Army in Taiwan, okay, or on the way to Taiwan, and nationalizing all that stuff. Yeah, sure, Taiwan Semi has a fab in the States, and they have fabs overseas as well. You don't want to rely on that because a lot of the times they bring their own people to those fabs to actually do the work. So that's number one. So if that's to be the case, and they want to rely on a domestic chip manufacturer, they may start bullying the hyperscalers to stop buying from Taiwan Semi and to buy from Intel, right? And if you find yourself in that case, right, you're definitely gonna get pushback from the hyperscalers. Why? Because they already tried Intel's products. They don't want it, Joseph. They don't want the 14A. They don't want the 18A. They don't want nothing.
They don't want anything to do with it. So no,
that's the only thing.
No, I think this it's a matter of. I don't know if it'll ever be delisted or anything along those lines, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go bankrupt or something. So yeah, tough look in Intel. All right, guys, Tesla potential signal here. I mean, considering that we've just been bleeding all day, are we going to get a bounce? It's extremely weak, so you don't want to look for too much. Key support and resistance levels, I think, is something to aim for. And I don't think it's going to turn around on a dime. So wait for this level to be broken, and then maybe we can get some more indecision prints on the lower time frames as well, too. So there's a couple. So we're slowly starting to form these hammers and trying to stop this downward trajectory. But it's going to take a little bit more and maybe some more time. And if the Nasdaq wants to start bleeding aggressively, then it's going to be even more trouble for Tesla. So just be aware of what was going on. And also, it's unfortunate that I didn't add right here. That was the ideal thing. Again, we took the break-even stop out when that should be an addition. So we're just going to try to continue to learn from our mistakes. And that was wrong right there because I mentioned as a primary target is going to be the volume-weighted average price. And we ran right into that door, and then I got stopped out about 30% of the position right there. So that's what we're cooking up. Google and all the mag names still relatively strong with the exception of Tesla. And what's NVDA up to currently? To do south of the volume-weighted average price. So we have Microsoft north of it, Google north of VWAP, Apple north of VWAP, Amazon north of it, and then NVDA and Tesla bigly south of that. Bigly of that one. So yeah. Shout out to all of the chip names. But guys, we got this downtrend, which I'm liking. So we're starting to form this somewhat of a wedge, right? It's not the cleanest. You don't want to force the pattern either. So we'll just go off of the intraday lows. And then we also have this continuous downtrend being formed. So if we break either or, I'm going to look for the move in that specific direction. And there goes Tesla. So maybe we'll try to get involved on somewhat of a bounce here. If it cracks the lows, oh no, did I? No. Oh, I hate it when I do that. All right, Sharif, take it over.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, OPAD, we're involved. I think we've got 17s. No, we've got 15.5s. We just wet the beak there at 30s. I'm looking for continuity here. 28s, the seller at 28s keeps coming back. We breached 28 momentarily, but you could tell it was a level, whatever an algo was using. I still have a arresting order, as you can see, they're unfilled. That aqua, cyan line and circle there on your screen, that's sitting at 505. I'm looking to defend $5. We're doing it live right now, back into my level. It goes. So let's see if we can get that hold or even maybe a fill and then a pump back up. So looking for continuity here on OPAD. But on my screen, I see RSLV continuing to freaking go into the high dates, up 374 now. But I got to pack my patience here with OPAD because it's coming back into 10s. And I actually have my dip trade there at 7s, not 5s, excuse me. So I misspoke. 14 showing up now, so we're a penny out of the money now, break even. Looking for continuity here and a hold of a level. I wonder how many more cups of mine she'll break.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to watch that. You okay?
Yeah.
You're tired. Yeah.
No. I was just looking. I was just kind of doing something there.
Oh, all good. All
just
good.
Like, I'd be kind of cursing at myself. So essentially, what I'll tell you guys what the mistake is. I didn't change one of my level 2s. So I have 2 L2s, one that I can just put buy and sell orders, but I never switched one. And then what I did is I meant to hop into Tesla, and then I just punched extremely heavy on NVDA, and now I'm going to take a big time loss on this one. That's.
You want me to take over?
Yeah, please.
Okay, all right, here we go, guys. Let's just de-risk a little bit more here at 20s on OPAD. Looking for this one to hold, man. I'm really annoyed that I didn't get my fill. I mean, this held to the penny, guys. The area of resistance, previous area resistance was 10. This one held up right at 10. Like, that never happens. It usually breaches it by a couple of pennies. That's why I had it at 7s, not 5s, thinking I'm going to get the money fill. Sucks to be me. So we don't get the full fill here. We'll go with 2/3 of the position we wanted. Still in the money and profitable on it. Looking for more, though, man. Looking straight up for more. All right, Party P. I like this name. Shout out to Party P, man. He looks like he's a good time guy. Hey, Sharif. Thanks for the insights on the average volume profile earlier. I appreciate y'all. Hope you two print up multiple storms, my man. OPA freaking D, my man. I like you already. Shout out to you. And I appreciate the kind words. And I hope you're printing up multiple storms on that side of the screen as well, my man. Otherwise, I mean, you know what? We doing this thing. We could just be punching into positions on at our own desk here. We don't need to be on live, Joey. So, yeah, we're obviously hoping that you print up multiple storms as well. All right, continuing to watch this area. Joey looking for that move back up into 5 1/3. We still haven't got that 5 1/3 touch. It's coming back down now. The 10 EMA is right at 502. I will allow this to fill at 507. If it loses 5, that's where I'll get out. Okay? So let's go ahead and set that up now. So we'll have that many shares triggering at 07. We've got that many shares right now. So we can sit here and we'll put it at 97s. And then if it loses that level, it's all over. It's really that simple. So keeping my eye on that and looking for more. I also want to mention BTAI. Right? BTAI was also a good looking one as well. Is this on the Nasdaq? Yes, it is. So shout out to you, Bovin, because this is the 10 EMA on BTAI, and it looks like it's been holding the 10 EMA all freaking day. And we're 2 pennies off the high, 1 penny off the high, now showing 5s, 25s that is, on the level 2. So Bovin, I don't know how you feel about this, brother, but we're stair-stepping up, and I'm thinking I want to, take this one back up. Possibly into some technical areas that we talked about from yesterday's price action. So let me know how you're looking at this, Bovin. I'm talking about BTAI, but for the moment, we're going to send you to Adair at the big desk with happening now. Then Neil, he's dropping that Neilage, baby, for his lesson of the day.
Let's go.
Here is the market, the Nasdaq trying to push a little bit higher here. We're seeing some higher highs and higher lows. And let's talk about what are some of the catalysts on watch today. Of course, we did get that better than expected GDP print, which came out at 8:30 a.m., 3% versus 3.3% expected. Tomorrow morning, it'll be even more exciting numbers. PCE coming out at 8:30 a.m. Then at 10 a.m., we will be getting the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment. So both these are very closely watched numbers. They're both numbers that are often mentioned by the Fed. So this could get pretty interesting. Also on watch are these ongoing EU-US trade deals, the EU scrambling to come to some kind of solution here. The other thing on watch as well, with regards to, I guess, the more macroeconomic side, is Fed's Lisa Cook filing a lawsuit after Trump announced her ouster via a Truth Social post on Monday night. Let's talk about NVIDIA. NVDA did beat its EPS and revenue estimates during their earnings report. They didn't quite make this expected move, though, but a little bit choppy this morning for NVIDIA. There are still, of course, some concerns with regards to their gross margin and the guidance, so they maintain their gross margin guidance heading into the rest of the year. They're still expecting roughly mid 70% gross margin to close out the fiscal year. Let's talk here about Intel as well. INTC and watch. You can check out these infographics on X at TTV Research, by the way, if you're into more visual representations of data. But Intel just on a steady decline here for annual revenue, and we had their CFO today at a conference saying that they were very concerned about whether or not they'd be able to meet the milestones with regards to their CHIPS Act funding. That CHIPS Act funding, though, at least $5.7 billion worth, has been transferred to the U.S. government's stake in the company. This things we already kind of knew, but the context about Intel's concerns about that funding, pretty significant. Over to Neil and his lesson of the day. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and keep your ears ready for what Neil is ready to tell you. Back to you.
Get it, Adara. Thank you very much, and welcome to the lesson of the day, which is apparently it's going to take me a long time to finish this tilapia with potato and my salad. To get halfway through this fish, I'm not going to lie, it's already been like 20 minutes. It's like, I'm going to eat it. It's a protein in lunch, so I'm going to eat it for sure. But, like your palate, sometimes you got to be particular. And on earnings days, you need to be even more particular. I think a lot of times, when we see on a day where there's not a lot going on, or maybe a stock doesn't have a particular catalyst, you can do like multiple trade ideas. Following the trend can be easier. But on earnings, it's going to be a little bit more sharp, a little bit more distinct. A lot of big actions going to go through. So 3 names. I'll end it with NVIDIA, but start out with Snowflake, because if you were really particular about Snowflake, I already slapped a fail on myself for throwing on to X. Hey, 230 break. It happened. It didn't happen at the open. And ultimately, I have a rule about if it doesn't break out at the open and gets to a certain price, I cancel breakout trades, like that kind of a thing. But it should have been put back in, because really, when you looked at what this stock did, there was the local high, the 52-week high at 230, and then 2 years ago, 240. And I promise you, well, maybe someone else is going to find something cleaner. Yes, at the open, it dipped into, look at the dip. Let's be real. The stock was falling back in rather heavily. Bounced off 220. So like I said, I have a rule about when it's certain distance away from the breakout price, I'm canceling the order because I don't want to forget about it and then it breaks out that high. But you look at the one time at the one price area to transact and then the 240 level. You got guessed by the dip at 220, but that's not that clean. But pretty clean through that 230 into the 240. Now sometimes you'll regret and might have that one spot to take the trade and you miss it. On CrowdStrike, I think for a lot of people that you could make the argument that was last night, but it's a very similar story with CrowdStrike. And because if you think about it, the bottom got put in and it gapped above, and if you were looking for the dip buy back in this top zone, you didn't get it. The clean breakout did happen, and when you go to the higher time frame on CrowdStrike, where did it go? You were just essentially, once you knew you were long, you were riding it into that 440 level area. 39 technically. But it got pretty close to that price and reversed. But you were pretty long clean in a breakout into that price. There was no need to do anything else. That being said, neither one of those were the 2 names that we were the most interested in. It was always going to be NVIDIA. And the way that you survive NVIDIA today is to be as precise as you can with your entry points. Because unlike the other 2, they both cleanly broke out the top, right? NVIDIA, on the other hand, did not break out the top. So in this particular case, you can like everything you want about it and want to be looking for the long in NVIDIA, but it could not take out the top and be clean for a breakout like both of those 2 other big earnings names. In this particular case, when I say be specific, to me that always just means try to transact it in an area that I know if that area fails, I'm not sitting there fighting the stock. Right? So if 184 is not going to go and hold above and break out over, then 82, down here at 77, try it when it regains this 79 area at the volume weighted average price, and you don't see me trying the long anywhere else. Why? Because it's a failed break. Like the overall structure of this is pre-earnings, there was a monster seller at 184. Post-earnings, the seller won at 930. So the higher time frame's telling you this one wasn't a breakout trade. So you got to get particular about it. If you're going to be particular about Snowflake 230 break and hold at 240, then you got to be really particular about how you try to catch a falling knife in NVIDIA. And maybe we get a second shot at 177. What do you think I would do if it loses 177? Some bounce at 75. Maybe you take a shot there. We had a close around that price. Might make some sense. Or even like a 72. Like you've just got to be very, very patient to try to go station to station when it's not going to be clean. Otherwise, as I said, you end up fighting the stock for too long and you can get yourself in a world of hurt. Not every earnings play is going to be clean like Snowflake was. It's not always going to look like this. Like, it rinsed everyone at the bottom, but it doesn't matter. The breakout was still absolutely clean, one step to the next step. If Snowflake had failed that, and started filling in the gap, like where do you think you're waiting long? I mean, I'd be waiting to try it here. I'd be waiting to try it here. I'd be waiting maybe to try it all the way at break even. But everywhere in the middle, it's just patience, 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 especially post-earnings, because that's when price discovery is happening. And the greater the price discovery, the greater the volatility, and you can't just be sitting there layering into things going against you when you're in that type of a state. When you're past earnings and you've got way more established levels and you've seen buyers come in post-earnings and you're confident about it, that's a different story, everybody. And by the way, before I get out of here, can we just all give a big salute to SoFi breaking $26 as we speak? Shout out to SoFi being up 4%. Get it, SoFi. But be particular in your trades on earnings. If it's not going to be clean for those breakout trades, you have to transact at only the precise times and the best moments. So just sit there waiting, waiting, waiting. We waited for NVIDIA to show that curl off 177 and did nothing until it did. Sometimes you have to just sit there on your hands, wait for the perfect entry, and not just fight that stock. Earnings days are always big, but how you trade them can sometimes define your week, maybe even your month. Go get them midday. Go get them, SoFi.
I like that.
Go
get it, Neil.
Boy. Get him, boys. Get him. There we go. Tesla's bouncing off of those lows. I didn't even see my boy Gorev in the chat today.
Joseph, I got to cover this.
Go ahead,
I got to cover
man.
this. All right, SOGP.
It's pretty. It's so pretty. We go with
Boom, man. This thing is on a rampage, Neil. 133% and frickin' going. Look at multiple entries, guys. That was the $8 break. It was a bull flag with the top end of the flag at $8. It broke it. It broke it decisively. I got in, scalped up into a third, added into that 40 penny area. Boom, into 80. Look at this thing go. Here we go. 910 high. It's up 137%. Trade it carefully, people. Trade it carefully. It's around for a good time, not a long time. So here we go. Let's see if this one's got the juice to take out 9 on a decisive basis. 910 high, Joey, but the longs don't look like they're done yet. They keep picking it up on every little drop. There is, though, that seller in the high 90s. Someone's dancing. I guess your position is going good at this point.
No, it's not going that good, to be honest. I'm dancing for you, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you there.
And I'm
That's
also
nice of you,
singing,
man.
however do you want. Anyways, all right, guys. Yeah, so this is working for us right now. It's Sharif dancing now too. This is working for us, and yeah, we just don't have enough shares, man. Gosh darn it. All right. There we go. And NVDA, this was my mistake there on NVDA when I punched in on this name, but it's starting to get a little bit of a bounce. So I just got out of it at the break of this candle, and then sure enough, starting to slowly curl back over. But I'm looking for, considering I'm involved with Tesla now, I'm looking for a potential pullback, and then we can just add aggressively, because this isn't, I get more frustrated with being in the right trade and not having enough shares that I just punch out, because it's frustrating to know the potential returns of it. So for me, that's where I'm kind of sitting right now. But I'll take it, right? But I did take an ugly loss on that NVDA trade, considering I just punched in full size right away. And then sure enough, yeah, right away on that one. But yeah, Tesla getting a nice little rebound. I'm not looking for a crazy retracement all the way back to the volume weighted average price, but maybe we can run into the top end end of this zone. You can see we have a support level right there around 1294 as well too. So you can see we're struggling, and then the defense on the tape is definitely correlating and confirming that. So be patient, retest this level, then a potential add, and then who knows? VWAP would be an absolute dream because we got Google about to put in a new high of the day. If it does establish one of those, that's going to be a new all-time high from an intraday standpoint on Google. And then we have Microsoft heading back towards the high of the day as well too. Amazon, nice cool pullback, and then now starting to climb higher once again. NVDA right back up to those levels. I'm not even going to get mad that I was like, oh, I should have held it. I wasn't even thinking about being in that trade whatsoever. I held it for as long as I felt I possibly could, and then I got out of that one. Thank you for reminding me about Meta. Let's see what Meta's been up to. Zuck and Company.
What's he been up to?
Oh, did I type in Zuck? I did.
He's a good wakeboarder, eh?
Zuck is?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can be good at anything when you have that type of money, and then you can just practice it all the time.
No credit.
Yeah,
You're giving him no credit.
No, I'm giving him credit because, like, think about it. That guy was doing. It's like Bezos too. Like Bezos went and got jacked. Obviously, was on a little bit of the RT. But yeah, for sure. I mean, that's tough to get at that age. But anyways, to Mark Zuckerberg,
and you could just tell he was bloated.
Yeah,
right?
It's
just like because
tummy, right?
Test holds water retention.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
And then also with Zuck, you just started hopping into MMA. Like, who thought this guy would have been fighting people and training jiu-jitsu? So shout out to those guys. And I think I would be doing the exact same thing. I'd have a $100 billion yacht, and then I'd be training jiu-jitsu.
20 doctors and like physio,
everything.
Personal trainers,
Everything,
all
brother.
you know, like
everything,
bending to your every need.
Like, think about imagine you have your sick personal gym at home. Imagine if you were Zuck, that gym that you would have.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Clearly.
In like every corner of the house, just because. But yeah, really nice curl up in NVDA. Tesla continuing to grind higher. It's unfortunate that we got stopped out on that one.
All right, Alan Noir. Sorry, I can't read. Alan Noir 4, $2 Canadian. Thank you very much, Alan. HS, head and shoulders on NVIDIA on the daily. Okay, let's have a look at that. By the way, guys, just before I go on, yeah, it's still going. SOGP, high day, 938, and it's at 930 right now. Oh my goodness, 947, 964, Joseph. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's on a rampage right now. It's just about to punch into 9. These are the micro pullbacks we talk about, guys. I just have to digress because this one is breaking out. It's up 150%, going to 160. There's a seller at 79. It's an 85 high now. SOGP is the ticker. Okay, let's look at NVDA for this head and shoulders pattern. Thank you for the super chat. I don't see a head and shoulders pattern on the daily. Let me just see. Yeah, you said the daily. No, I don't see a head and shoulders pattern on the daily. Definitely a downward channel here, selling off, their DeepSeek stuff, then the tariff tantrum, and since that time, we've been putting in higher highs and higher lows. So I personally don't see a head and shoulders. Joseph Options, do you see a head and shoulders anywhere here?
On that, no.
Yeah, this is the daily on NVIDIA.
On NVDA, no, I don't see it. No,
I don't.
I don't see a head
don't
or anything. Inverse, maybe, if anything, you want to go next. But again, we don't want to force it, right? Like, if you feel that you have to force the pattern, then it's not there.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, Joey. I don't see a head and shoulders here. I think NVIDIA's still got more runway, believe it or not. I really do. If this deal between China and the United States can get ironed out, and Donald can speak to Xi and tell him, look, there ain't no back doors in any of these H-20s or B-30As that they're building now for China, and Xi buys that and they start selling to China, I think there's going to be a huge China tailwind. With that, we'll have to wait and see how that ends up going. But I want to bring to your attention 3 stocks that I want to point out for good swing trades. Okay, so the first one obviously is SoFi. Someone just brought this to our attention. Neil pointing out as well that it took out $26. We're almost back into pandemic era highs. This was when it de-SPACed. Shout out to Chamath. And we're very close. We're about $2 from all-time high. So SoFi, I think this is a really good one. But I also brought this one to you guys as well. Impinj, Pi. This I'm personally involved in, okay? I took a loss on this one initially. I got in, I think, at 190, lost as it broke through the 200 moving average. So I lost about $30 a share. We're up nicely on it now. And this one is all sorts of strong every day, okay? They deal with analog devices, and if you're following AI, analog's back in fashion now. These analog chips that are being used in AI servers. So Impinj, PI, is one that I want to point out. But I also want to point out one that our very good friend Mitch Hoke brought to your attention, Bloom Energy. This thing is freaking rocketing up every day. It had a nice little bull flag here back in November. That's the election pump. And then we consolidated. We sold off a little bit like everything else during the tariff tantrum. And then look what we've been doing since that time. This thing has absolutely exploded. From the lows prior to the election to the high, we're up 500%. Bloom Energy is the name of the company, BE. They obviously deal with a lot of energy, different energy solutions. And my understanding is they're doing quite well because of data centers. So keep your eye on those ones. Those I just want to point out. Good plays that have been doing well as of late. Back to SOGP here, Joey. It is now a 1020 high a day, and it's up 158%, dipping back down now into the mid-80s, mid-80s with a 1020 high. I don't think 1020 is far enough away from 10. Go ahead, Joey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Are you tapped in there? Yeah, that's all right,
Always
brother.
forget, man.
All right.
Sorry.
Exciting news for Canadian sophisticated traders. Betapro by GlobalX Canada has just launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs, offering 3x bull and 3x bear exposure to the S&P and TSX 60, semiconductors, and U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. Ooh, okay, right around the years. These ETFs also employ currency hedging to seek neutralize U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equity indices. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn some more. Yeah, so there it is. Planet Labs, what's up? PL, yeah, let's take a look at Planet Labs there. This might be an ad opportunity, and I'm going to try to get aggressive on this, even though the Qs have put in somewhat of a double top, so I'm just going to eat my words. I love talking because when I'm thinking, it's just my brain is running, and as I'm looking at things, I'm just displaying what I'm thinking. So at the end of the day, Qs failed to construct a new high, but if the MAG wants to continue to climb, there it is. Is that it? Google new high of the day, new all-time high? Oh, right there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So Google put in another all-time high right there, guys. So a pretty good look. Meta continuing to climb. So it's dangerous to short the Q, so we'll just void that for now. But Tesla, we did take some out, nothing substantial, only 20% right there. So we're holding on to the remain, and then I just got to take the swing. I really feel like swinging the bat today. So yeah, I'm going to try to get as aggressive as I possibly can on this. If it wants to recover, and I mentioned that VWAP is going to be the ultimate dream. I don't know if that name, if Tesla's going to get there, considering you can see that its other peers in the likes of Amazon, Meta, and as the names I just mentioned, are continuously climbing higher and are well north above the volume weighted average price, and we're trading below it, and we're down 2% on the session, which isn't absolutely horrible. We'll take it, but that breakout that we experienced over the past couple of sessions, it's gone essentially. So we're right back into the top end of that range. Let's see if we can get a bounce around that specific level. I'm gonna, yeah, you know what? I gotta do it, man. I gotta do it. So yeah, I'm gonna.
Whatever you're feeling, man.
I gotta. I'm not feeling it. All right. So we'll just abandon that real quick. So again, closer to this specific zone, then that's where I'll add, and then that's where my risk profile can be drastically more defined, and I don't have to risk as much. Considering if I do add aggressively, I'm essentially not wrong until we break this 1277, and that's 20 pennies that I don't necessarily want to give TSLL when my risk to reward is probably going to be roughly around, where's that next level of resistance?
Where's it at?
So it's at 13 flat.
Okay.
And then 1313 as well, too. So shout out to 13.
Yeah, I don't even count 13s on my reps, bro.
Matt Sundin.
Nah, I'm just joking. I said that one time. I totally count them.
I was just.
I wouldn't be that.
Shout out to creatine, because I'm just like repping like 15. It's not overly heavy. 15 shoulder press, 50s, right? 15 reps, 50s, bop. And then I'll just hop into like some leg raises and some
boom,
push-ups
upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body. That gets the test going, and that gets the blood flow going too, bro.
Body weight squats, we'll throw them in there. But shout out to creatine and company.
It's crazy. You got to lower.
You know what's wild? I never started taking
a few hundred.
What?
You got to burn body weight squats.
Yeah. I got a bad knee as well too. I can't go heavy. Yeah, my meniscus and everything is all torn and everything, so I can't go heavy on those. You know what's funny? I didn't start taking creatine until I turned 30. I wish I took it when I was actually like in competitive sports.
Yeah.
Then it would have been lights
But you
out.
got to understand, though, like a lot of research has come out lately, like in the past, I want to say 10, 15 years about creatine. Like I remember creatine in high school, and we were like, oh, it's bad for your liver. You got to do it 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off. None of that's true anymore.
No, you just
know
keep
what I mean?
taking it.
Yeah, I take it every day, man. Twice a day, 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m., and then I smash it again.
Another
on
one?
my
Yeah, I take
sipping
one
it with
scoop every
BCAAs.
morning. I take a nice
Creatine's
scoop there.
solid. All right, guys, OPAD, sorry, I digressed there. OPAD, I punched back into this at 9s, and we scalped up all the way there into 30s. So this one is putting a nice little hold there off that $5 area. Are we positive on this piece of crap? No, we're not. We're positive on the day. But this one did get me in a little bit of trouble on this stop out here. So I don't know. I'm just going to continue to look at this one because it's putting in a good chart pattern, and I don't think it's done. It's a 45 high. We're showing 30s. Clearly, there's a seller in and around that 30 area. Yeah, but I want to get involved. I'm just concerned here about the lower high and the pattern that could lead to, right? So that's what I'll look at there. I also want to weasel into RZLV. So exactly what I'm going to do now. 1 penny spread. Not bad. We're going to get out if it breaches prior bar low, prior trough or current trough low. That'll take me into 59. So let's go ahead and set up at 358. And we'll set up all the way there and set up some profit takers. 65, Joey, you know where I'm going to wait, obviously. That goes without saying. So we're going to wait there as well. Let's see if we can kind of get a nice little move back on RZLV. See if it works right back up, Joseph.
All right, guys. You've seen Trade the Pool here with us for a while now. And now Trade the Pool has created something special just for you. A free ebook featuring 4 proven swing trading strategies from Trade the Pool's top funded traders. Inside, you'll see exactly how they approach the markets, how they manage risk, and what setups they rely on, so you can learn and grow from what actually works. Download it now by scanning the QR code on screen or hitting the link in the description. Guys, we're going off to Adara with breaking news.
Yeah, keep an eye here on META. It's funny, we were just having this conversation about Zuckerberg. Now I'm seeing reports that apparently Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Meta, met with Donald Trump at the White House last week and lobbied Trump with regards to the digital tax issue. Then, of course, this week, we got this threat with regards to tariffs and digital taxes. So interesting note there as well. It's worth noting, I'm just seeing here, apparently the Lisa Cook hearing has been scheduled for Friday. A judge has scheduled the hearing with regards to Lisa Cook on Friday. I'm also seeing here some news on IREN. This is just popping up now. IREN's already had a good day. IREN Limited. I'm seeing some speculation here on X that the company's become NVIDIA's preferred cloud partner. Again, just speculation right now. Back to you.
Great stuff there, Adara. Sorry, Sharif, one second before we send it back. Look at Rigetti and the quantum spaces. Was that what you were about to look at right there?
They tagged us.
They tagged us in that T-Money. Shout out T-Money, man. T-City. Yeah, this thing is going absolutely insane. RGTI just going absolute parabolic on the session. Hasn't even pulled back whatsoever. Let's take a look at some of the other names before we send it back to my guy. Starting to head into this realm. This is a really beautiful print right here. Wow. That would be a nice swing trade right there for your boy. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'll probably bring up the data one day, but essentially I've just been on the weekend, I'll go through a bunch of tickers and then I'll grade the setup. I'm not obviously going through every single one and saying there's a setup within it, but I'll go and I'll just grade each specific one for potential swing trades, and I'll display kind of the little system that I've been working on with that. QUBT. Oh, okay, this one's not doing too good. Quantum computing.
QBTS usually a bit
better. QBTS a little bit better. But I mean, Sharif, if this downtrend snaps, I think it'll start participating with the rest of its peers. So for me, if I was looking at this, at the crack of this, I would give this like a C+, or that's as high as I would go on this specific, because we do have some indecision, but it's also not participating, all right? So that I always take that into consideration. What is its peers up to within that same sector? And the same thing as D-Wave QBTS right here, nice indecision print, but not trading as well as we see in an IonQ and RGTI.
Oh, sorry, Joey. All right, guys. Oh my God. SOGP, here we go again. The buying's not stopping, guys. I mean, the algos, the small cap traders, they're still participating. They're piling in, I should say, into this one. We're close to about 75 million shares, almost 75 million shares traded on the day. This one started out its life, guys, in single-digit territory, clearly 367 low, That's the closing print. And here we are, Joseph, with another day high, 1065, and I feel like I'm probably going to be changing that very soon. There it is, 71.90 high. SOGP's got the goods to set this one loose, and here we go, showing the first halt parameter, 1090. It's going to gray out if we stay at this price level for about 5 more seconds. Let's see, 91 on the bid, 91 on the ask, 90 on the bid, and boom. Right away, straight to jail. 1090 halt level tap, showing 91. This is a Nasdaq stock, so we will get a good and accurate theoretical auction price during the halt. Guys, already showing 11, so 10 pennies higher here. Keep your eye on SOGP if you like these small cap gappers. This is the biggest one in the market right now, up 186%. Second place is about, I want to say OPAD. We've been in and out of that one. Do you have anything you want to cover?
No, Tesla's really working. I'm just devastated on the fact of my share size right now, that's all. But
Don't even, bro.
No,
Don't even.
No, it is what it is, right?
Exactly.
I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, but yeah, there it is, right? So we grab the bottom off of Tesla. We'll pull up the 5-minute time frame, and it's just working really, really well. And it's unfortunate that I just didn't go as heavy as I possibly could. I just started out with starter position, so it's just quarter risk essentially on that one. Meta grinding higher, so thank you, Adair, for bringing us that. Amazon putting in a new high of the day. Google all-time highs 212.07. Like everybody had this name in the dumps, even myself. You know what, Sharif? I'm gonna be honest. I sold Tesla, Meta, and I sold Tesla.
You didn't even see anything.
That's the thing. Tesla. I sold Tesla, Google, and Apple. And I mean, I knew Google was going to be something to hold on. Tesla, otherwise, when you have a CEO who's just all over the map, it's tougher to hold through that stuff. But at the end of the day, I like what my guy Sundar is up to.
Oh, Sundar, he's your guy now. Huh?
Yeah.
Wait a couple of
weeks. Well,
weeks.
Even though I don't even own any of this stock, I like Sundar, man.
All right, shout out to my man Tommy freaking Gunn in the chat. Thanks,
Tommy
SOGP. No. You don't like the Rocky series, Joey.
Oh, is that who Tommy Gunn's from?
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Shout out to Rocky 5. I love this. Shout out to Tommy Gunn in the chat. Man, he's like one of the most sinister characters in Rocky. Like, you could give it up for Clubber Lang. Clubber Lang, he wants to be heavyweight champion of the world. He thinks Rocky's ducking him, right? That's why he doesn't like him. I can get behind that. That makes sense to me. Why the hell does Tommy Gunn not like Rocky? He made you into everything you are, bro. You are nothing without him. You were a bum on the streets of Philly, and he picked you up, cleaned you up, took you home, and gave you his kid's room, you little punk. So how could you not like him? I would say he's the most sinister character in all the Rocky series. So yeah, in case you were wondering how I feel about that, now you know about it. No, but seriously though, shout out to Tommy Gunn in the chat, because SOGP still halted to the upside over here. And now we're showing a top still of $11. Can't really clear that by all that much. Zigging and zagging between the 10 mid-90s and that $11 area. So that's what I'll be keeping my eye on there. I want to see when this one's going to open up. And I'll just give you a little trick. If you're a newer trader and you don't know about it, you quickly look over to the level 2, or sorry, not the level 2, the time in sales, and you come and you look at the last print. The last print, Joey options, 12/27/52. You add 5 minutes on top of that time there, and that's the earliest time we can open on SOGP, but doesn't mean we're going to open up there. It just means it's the earliest time, because they can come in waves of 5. The halt, that is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, etc.
Good luck there. Yeah, all right, good moment of silence. Should I make the daily goal more achievable, or you think better to make it hard to get? Oh, that's a great question, to be honest with you. I mean, I think every day you should try to make it a little bit more complicated, or not complicated, obviously, but maybe stretch for a goal, I think, in my opinion, because you don't want to just you don't want to be stagnant, right? At the end of the day, you want to continuously grow. So if you believe that your system has the ability to kind of scale, and the fact that you want to make that daily goal kind of more difficult or tougher to reach, then by all means continue to do so. I think that's fantastic, and that's how you'll continuously grow. Unless you push those limits, you're not going to have the ability to do so. And then it comes at an expense of things, right? So You're going to take some bigger losses. You have to get comfortable with that. It's going to hinder. So I'll tell you one thing for me personally. When I first started kind of sizing up, even in my swing trading, day trading, you don't operate the same. You don't execute the same, but eventually you will kind of just get back into that comfort zone where it's like, oh, okay, when you used to take 50 shares, you're like, oh, okay, you're stressing when you take 150 or 200 shares, but then eventually you just kind of calm and cool and get back into the gist of things, but just continuously push yourself, especially if you have a profitable system. I think that's the best way to go. There's no questioning that. Now, as for the Qs, nice pop-up there, volume signature. It's going to be one of the largest that we've experienced in the past hour or so, but nothing tells me topping. But at the end of the day, Amazon and Google, they both put in new highs, or double top on Amazon and then Google new high. But this is also a nice inverted hammer candle as well, too, with an isolated volume print, considering that the largest one was at 10:30 in the morning. So maybe you get somewhat of a pullback, but with these names being that strong, it's so, in my opinion, difficult to short them and go against the grain. And that may not be the best trade right there. So I'm going to be patient on this Tesla. I don't know if there's going to be more ad opportunities. I'm going to have it up on my secondary chart. So let me take a look at what we got going on. This was the additional ad that I was looking at. Unfortunately, we didn't take advantage of it. But again, more hammers, a nice recovery considering we're only down 2%, a little bit less than that in TSLA, Sharif.
All right, scalping a little bit more here, Joseph, as SOGP is now open. Yeah, this wasn't a good trade. I mean, I should have been, I tried to punch in at 11. It didn't let me. I chased it. Once I chased it, I felt differently about the trade because it wasn't the level that I wanted. So I didn't take exactly a lot on this, but it's positive nonetheless. And here we go. 69 the high. I like that. Here we go. 83 the high, Joseph Wilson. And that's going to change. 89 the high now. Here we go. SOGP now up over 200% and going on 210 with an 11. 89 high of day. We're, a few pennies removed from that, going into the 60s. So let's see exactly how long this goes on for. Oh, today's a Champions League draw.
Is it?
Yeah, man. You know Champions League, right?
Yeah. But what's the draw?
So you don't really know who's going to be in the oh, actually, how does it work now? Because they're all in one group. I don't even know how that works. Usually they were in different groups, like 4 people per group, but now it's a table, like the Prem. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know how that works. Good question. I don't know why I brought that up if I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
No, it's only the second year they're doing it. Last year they started with that format where everyone was in the same group. If you guys know in the chat, I'd really like to know what the hell this draw is about, because I don't have time to read it, obviously, but yeah. So here, I'm keeping my eye here on SOGP. That's the only thing that I'm keeping my eye on right now. I'm still involved in RZLV, but that one is a lot slower of a trade and doesn't really require a lot of input for me. At the moment, I've put my stops in, I've put my profit takers and everything like that. So I don't have a whole lot to talk about right now other than SOGP. I don't really feel like chasing this at the moment. Let's see what it does at 11. It's still got a higher low. The prior candle low, if you're using that kind of system, is 1070. We're showing 1122. So if you're punching in and you're basing your stop on prior bar low, then you put your stop a little bit below that. Essentially, you only play a set of, yes, that's right. I remember that. So you don't obviously play every team in the table like you do in the Prem. You play every team twice. So that's what it is. Okay, let's just have a quick read here, Joey Options. This is slower time of day right now.
What's up with football? Like, I don't get it.
Soccer?
Like, no, American football. Like, some teams don't play each other for like 10 years or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
it's absolutely possible.
Yeah.
Because you're only guaranteed to play your division twice.
Yeah.
One home and one away. Everything, and then you have to play the same non-division teams as your other division members. So if I'm playing, let's just say Dallas is playing Green Bay, then Philly, New York, and Washington also have to play Green Bay, so that we all play the same teams. Therefore, we've got kind of
I get it. You kind of a level playing field in that aspect.
Exactly. So then you could go a hot minute without playing. Like for example, like Dallas came to Buffalo, I think last year or the year before, and they hadn't been to Buffalo in a hot minute, and I wanted to go, but we couldn't get
So
tickets.
I don't know. I don't understand that. It's kind of oh well.
No, we're talking about American football.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I've got on at the moment. I'm just going to pack my patience, see what SOGP does. It's coming off the highs here, and it did breach prior bar low. Not by much, but it did breach it. So let's see if it holds up above 11. If it holds above 11, then we'll have to get involved. But yeah, that's all I'm looking at right now. What are you guys looking at in the chat? Let me know. Zach Bobek, come on, Jerry. Make the trade. Yeah, I know, man. Come on, man. I've been trading this entire time. Martin, 1882. While Man United certainly doesn't have to worry about Champions League draw, have you seen what they did yesterday? Yeah, they lost in the League Cup to a 4th division team, bro. That's crazy. I don't like that. I hate Manchester United, but it's by default because I'm an Arsenal fan, right? So if anybody was watching, obviously, the saga of the early 2000s between Man U and the Invincibles, what used to be the Invincibles, you know why, as an Arsenal fan, you can't like Manchester United. But that doesn't mean that, I don't like the players on the team, man. I just feel bad. But that's the beautiful thing about the League Cup and the FA Cup, right? Is that you're playing at a division teams and you can have like these Cinderella stories for what team did they lose to yesterday? I know it was a 4th division team, but I just forget the name of the team. Let's look over here, Joey Options, let everybody know. So they lost to Grimsby Town. And they lost on penalties. So they took 12 different penalties. You keep shooting until somebody misses. So United scores.
And I don't like that too. When you isn't the World Cup even that if it goes past extra time, it goes to penalties?
A lot of people don't like it.
That is so
it's a lottery.
Insane. That is so insane.
But bro, you don't shift like hockey. And you have a finite amount of substitutions, right? So people get tired. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, but brother, I'm telling you, you got to think about it. Take into consideration when you're running on skates, you also have like 15 pounds of equipment on, and you're running around at 20.
I'm not saying hockey is easy.
I'm not like 25 kilometers an hour.
No.
I mean,
hockey is definitely a lot harder.
You get harder. Like think about it, like a hard hockey shift is 60 seconds. If you're not tired after 60 seconds, you're not working hard enough.
Would it be fair to say hockey is more anaerobic than aerobic because you're like aggressive bursts of energy as opposed to, that consistent requirement of energy like soccer?
Yeah. Like,
you know what I mean?
Like, you have more ability to kind of float around, I think, in soccer than you do in hockey.
Oh, absolutely. You get downtime in soccer.
Yeah.
But those guys run like 10, 12K per match.
They run a lot. They run a lot. Yeah, I'm not definitely. I'm assuming midfielders obviously run probably the
wingers
most.
as well. Wingers are box to box now, so you have to defend and attack.
Yeah,
so you got lungs galore.
Yeah.
Adam, 12-1. 12-1, Adam. Adam, do you feel like I do about United? Is that like a universal Arsenal thing where, if you're gonna wear the badge, you have to dislike United in the way that you have to dislike Tottenham? Is that a thing in England, or am I just, a little overzealous on my side of the ocean over here? Get it, Adara.
I'm sorry, Tottenham Hotspurs is the best name in the Prem. I'm not even gonna lie. That is the best team name, like Tottenham Hotspurs. I'm not like rooting for the team, but I have always been a fan of that name. Because I think I don't know, there's something weird and funny about it.
Adam, she just told me she likes Tottenham. Like, what am I supposed to do, bro? What am I supposed to do here, bro? Dara, you have to understand that they hate each other like you wouldn't believe. Like, because their stadiums are 1 kilometer from each other. Okay. Dara, and they're like multi-$100 million stadiums. We're not talking about a shack. Like, so anyway.
I just like the name. I think the name is kind of fun. I don't know.
That's fair. I respect that.
London is blue.
Oh, yes. Bun Chelsea, bro.
Let's go.
Bun Chelsea. All right, Adara's got news.
Yeah, keep an eye here on Nike, NKE on watch. CNBC reporting that the company is laying off roughly 1% of its corporate staff. So not a massive layoff, but NKE actually bouncing here. So Nike with, it sounds like a pretty focused layoff. Back to you.
All right, I'm short. Yeah, I'm short the boys here. That's going to be the TQs. That's what I'm going to start calling it now, the boys right here. So, yeah, the TQs were short. I don't know if this is going to work out pretty good. How many cents of risk? I got about 30 cents. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a hefty loss. We just punched full size right there. So if that doesn't work out, that's going to kind of suck. But I will add into it, considering I am looking at Microsoft pulling back as well, too. Crack that downtrend. Google coming off of those highs. Apple as well. Meg starting to come in. And that's exactly what I want to see displayed in order for me to take a short. I mean, it worked for us the initial time. and we didn't go as heavy, so we won't let that pass us again. If the market decides that it wants to rip, which is looking like it kind of does, then I'll just hop out of this trade. Tesla is continuing its rebound, but another touch into VWAP. I love the ebbs and flows of today's market, so maybe we get a rejection of today's high there, Sharif.
All right, Joey, we got, it's 12:45.
Start it up.
12:42.
Fire it
so let's get to work, man. We got a lot of news to cover here. It's been an interesting day. I'm sure you guys are know exactly what we're going to start with. Let me guess.
Yeah.
You want to guess? No, NVIDIA. Come on, Randy. All right, shout out to the OG Randy. All right, let's get down to it. So NVIDIA, it was a beat everywhere except one and only one thing. Their data center revenue was a little bit lower because of China. I'm just summarizing it for you pretty quick, but let's go through line by line. China. All right, so NVIDIA posted adjusted EPS of $1.05, beating the 101 expected by the street on revenue of $46.75 billion, beating the 46-ish billion expected by the street. So a beat on the top and bottom line. And their net income, guys, their profit, that take-home money, popped 59% year over year to almost $26.5 billion. A little shy of that, 26.42 is the exact number, but it's markedly up from what they took home last year in profit, $16.6 billion. So almost just shy of $10 billion more in profit just on a year over year basis. They guided their Q3 revenue coming up to about $54 billion plus or minus 2%. Obviously, as a result of the China situation, they're not sure if they're going to be able to sell or not. That's why that plus 2 or minus is there, which again was above consensus estimates. The street was only looking for $53.1 billion, though the guidance, as I said, excludes potential China H20 shipments. Probably not even the H20. We may be talking about the B30A by that point. Let's talk about data centers, well known as a euphemism for AI. Their data center revenue grew 56% year over year, now up basically $41.1 billion. So they took home, guys, $46.74 billion, and their data center revenue is $41.1 billion. You can do the math and see exactly what percentage that is, but that actually missed the expectations by the street. They wanted 41.34, and that is the second time in a row that they miss on data center revenue. So whether you think it's an exuberant street or NVIDIA is not, meeting its full potential, that's something we can discuss. The compute revenue was up to $33.8 billion, down 1% sequentially due to $4 billion fewer H20s that they didn't sell to China. Their networking revenue continues to grow. It nearly doubled year over year, now up to $7.3 billion as customers expand their large AI systems. A lot of networking obviously has to go into connecting all these GPUs together. I'm sure you guys know about that. And their Blackwell chip sales, which is their latest model, booming, not just year over year, quarter over dang quarter, Joey, 17% increase from the previous quarter. Now it accounts about 70% of the all data center revenue. So gives you an idea that they've now shifted to delivering Blackwells more than they're delivering Hoppers, which is the H100, because Blackwell accounts for 70% of that $41.1 billion that we saw for their data center revenue. Let's talk about China, because this is where the uncertainty came in. That's why I highlighted in green a bunch here. They recorded $4.5 billion in write-downs tied to H20 chips that were built for China but went unsold. Despite securing a license to ship these H20s to China after meeting with President Donald Trump not that long ago, they shipped nothing in Q2 to China. They anticipate shipping nothing in Q3 to China unless changes. They said they did sell about $180 million worth of these H20s, but not to China, to another customer outside. And they said if all goes well in Q3 and they can actually sell these things, they're going to make about $2 to $5 billion in H20 revenue if the geopolitics allow. Let's go on to their different segments, even though people don't really care about it. Everyone wants to know about AI. Their gaming revenue, $4.3 billion, up almost 50%. That's not a bad look, because that had been dying off, Joey. 49% year over year. And their robotics revenue, which Jensen really leaned into on the call there, still very small, relatively speaking, just a little over $500 million, 586, but that's still up 69% year over year. despite being a small contributor. And that's now 9 straight quarters in a row with 50% more growth. We're talking about that overarching number. And last but not least here, Joey, they have a $60 billion share repurchase program with no expiration, and they've already bought back just shy of $10 billion just in Q2 alone.
The market likes buybacks, right? At the end of the day. But as for the H20 in China sales, we know that a lot of their Chinese customers actually have the H20 license and have applied for it. Now it's just up to the Chinese regulators to kind of give them that nod of approval. But at the end of the day, Sharif mentioned that could add another potential $2 to $5 billion. And then I heard full year that could be an additional $15 to $16 billion. So if the H20 is back on the table, watch out for the NVDA, because I believe that it's going to start ripping it if that's the case. It was on the table, then it was off the table again, and then we just needed to go back on.
Adara, Donald has called the H20 obsolete. Lutnick called it below third tier or third tier. I forget what exact phrase he used. Does that dissuade the Chinese from buying this, even if it is to their benefit? Because let's just admit it, man. You know, if I'm sitting there, you know, crapping on the product that I'm supposedly selling you and telling you it's good, am I going to want to buy that product?
I think clearly the point of this is to just make them not want to buy it. I think that's my honest opinion, because, and this is my issue with a lot of how, and I've talked about this ad nauseum, how the U.S. and China, but mostly the U.S. is handling this whole chip thing, because they're like, oh, you know, we're going to allow them to buy it. And then they're also making the conditions so unfavorable. They're also, you know, you could argue both ways with that 15%. I guess, cut that the U.S. government gets, like, oh, you know, it's incentivizing the U.S. to sell them, but also it's really not, because they're, like, you know, talking very badly about the chip. So, yeah, I think really they just don't want these sales because they're still concerned about the security issues, but they're just, instead of, like, you know, barring NVIDIA from selling them, you know, Trump wants to make people happy. He wants to make Jensen happy. He wants to keep Jensen on his good side. So he's saying, oh, you guys can sell them, but just making so that China would never want them. And China doesn't even want them anyway, because they have their own security worries. So I don't really get what the point of Donald and Howard Lutnick trashing these chips are. It doesn't make no sense to me. But then we get the weird other end of this, where we have him calling Blackwell super duper, and then also have reports now that Jensen and Trump are in talks to do this Blackwell related deal to China. So, yeah, I think honestly just a lot of confusion and a lot of things that need to be ironed out when it comes to this approach.
Yeah, well said. And I'm going to put this to you, Joey.
Yeah.
If the Chinese regulator is telling ByteDance, Alibaba, Tencent, don't buy the H20, it's compromised. We have reason to believe it's compromised, despite the fact that NVIDIA denies that. What makes NVIDIA think that the Chinese are going to believe that the B38, that next upcoming Blackwell chip, China-specific Blackwell chip, won't be compromised? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, that's a very valid question at the end of the day. Especially if you got the Chinese regulators telling you, hey, don't buy these. But then it comes down to your business. What is best for it? If they're compromised, yeah, that's obviously a sketchy situation, but you also want to have the best performance that you can possibly have. And if that lesser version of the Blackwell is that, then by all means you have to. We know that they were running into trouble with the Huawei chips that was strictly used for inference, I believe is what you were saying, and you can't train anything off of them. So essentially, in order to continuously grow, you might be stuck in between a rock and a hard place and have to buy them.
Exactly. I mean, if you can't rely on anything else, right?
Right. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of what that's what I was thinking. I'm like, can the Chinese wean themselves off these chips? And I don't think they can, not quite yet. Not if they want to stay, you know, close to the States in terms of AI potential. Let's go on to the next story. CrowdStrike tumbles, or it did anyway. I think it recovered. Let's look at where Crowd is right now. It's up 2 3/4. So there you go. Nice recovery there for CrowdStrike. But they did report, obviously, yesterday Q2 earnings that came in at $93 per share EPS, topping the 83 pennies expected by the street on revenue of $1.17 billion, which grew 21% year over year and was ahead of what the street was expecting of $1.15 billion. Investors kind of, at least initially, were focused on the muted guidance, which we'll get to in a second, and they're still worried about that outage and the repercussions of the outage from last year, and we'll get to that one in a second as well. Let's talk about their annual recurring revenue, ARR growth, and key metrics that climbed 20% year over year to about $4.66 billion, just ahead of the $4.64 expected by the street. And their new ARR, new annual recurring revenue that they added in the quarter, reached $221 million, surpassing the $202 million expected again by the street. And their guidance now, we'll talk about that. They guided revenue in the range of $1.2 billion to $1.218. That was slightly below the expectation of $1.228 billion. Hence why we sold off initially. And their earnings outlook also raised questions with ongoing business disruptions as well from potential contract renewals by some clients. Their litigation with Delta Airlines also not resolved quite yet. That goes back to the outage from last year, you'll recall, in the summer. And they're trying, at least anyway, to kind of, I don't want to say copy PanW, that's not really what I mean, but they're trying to kind of get all their clients to be using them for everything, whether it's endpoints, emails and gateways, apps, firewalls, cloud workloads. They're trying that platformization strategy, which was what PanW was calling it. They're trying to do it as well here, Joey. So you got to like this recovery, though, brother. I mean, we sold off quite aggressively on the release of the news, and here we are, up 2 3/4.
Big time recovery. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not surprised by that.
Okay.
Shape. At the end of the day, CRWD. Considering the move that this stock has been on for the past little while. Look at this here, a nice bull flag pattern off of yesterday's report, and then out of the gate, you're just boom, you just go right to the top side, and then you have that parabolic type price action, and then sure enough, one day, let's pull it up. If we go off of, you're up 72%, so outperforming the market drastically right there. And then now you have I believe it was like 20-30% pullback, 20% to be exact. And then now you bounce off of some key support levels. This is why I really like CrowdStrike. And I mentioned before, I used to sell a lot of options on this name back in this neck of the woods when it was all choppy, and up here as well too. So, I mean, I like this name, cybersecurity continuing to grow. I think it's really great for the space.
Adara, what was your thought about the performance there in the report? There were, I want to say, mostly good. There was just like a couple of, issues.
I think the guidance concern is definitely going to be of note. I think also the ongoing issues with Delta. This is still happening over a year later because that outage did happen on July 19th, 2024.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have to wait and see how this all settles out. I think that could be a minor headwind for the company. But again, I say minor. I don't think it's a massive issue. The guidance, to me, the sales guidance is maybe more of a concern because they did guide a little midpoint for the year, and they actually missed guidance for the quarter. So a little disappointing. I want to talk, too, again, about this Delta issue. There's this funny graphic. You can check this out on X at TTV Research. I made it for the 1-year anniversary of the CrowdStrike outage. There's another page just now it impacted Delta. But yeah, I mean, this company did not handle the situation well. They actually tried to give $10 Uber Eats vouchers to employees at some of the companies that were impacted. And then apparently the vouchers didn't even work because they gave so many and the code was the same, so people couldn't redeem them. Anyways, CrowdStrike didn't handle the situation well. And the reason I bring this up, too, is because we know there have been obviously, there's always security-related issues, right? Like, we know even PayPal had that situation. So if this is how the company handles security issues, what happens when there's the next one? I don't know. Kind of more forward-thinking concerns. But yeah, the sales guidance, I think, is my biggest issue here.
Absolutely, yeah. And I would have to agree with that because apparently their customers are asking them for discounts, and that never helps with margins. So I totally agree with you on that, Adair. Thank you. All right, let's go on to the next story there. Dick's Sporting Goods beats earnings and raises guidance. Show me where DKS is at right now. Are we up on the day? No, we are down. Oh no, 6.11%. So let's talk about the report. They reported stronger than expected Q2 results with adjusted EPS coming in at $4.38, beating the $4.32 expected by the street on revenue of $3.65 billion. Again, ahead of the $3.63 billion expected. Top line, bottom line beat. Net income as well, that take-home money, that profitability, baby, up to $381 million, up from $362 million they took home last year, so increasing profitability nicely. Their comparable sales, meaning the stores that have been open for a year or longer, also grew 5% year over year, well ahead of that 3.2% expected by the street, driven really by increases in both the average ticket size and transactions. It's great, Joey, when there's more people buying at your store and they're also spending more on average. So that is not a bad look at all. Yes. Let's go on to the upgraded outlook. They expect comparable sales growth to grow about 2 to 3.5% for the full year, above the prior range that they guided 1 to 3%, and ahead of the analyst estimate of 2.9%. Full year EPS guidance was also raised between $13.90 and $14.50 a share, up from $13.80 to $14.40, largely in line with the expectations of $14.39. The revenue forecast, though, remains a little conservative, and this is why we could be selling off. $13.75 billion to $13.95 billion. That's below what the street was expecting. The street wanted a clean $14 billion, and they didn't get it. The guidance, though, incorporates the current tariffs, but excludes, Joseph, the potential financial impacts from the pending Foot Locker acquisition. Yes, in case you forgot, this company has acquired Foot Locker. Let's talk about that. That's the next topic. In May, Dick's announced the $2.4 billion acquisition of Foot Locker, expected to close next month in September, with regulatory approvals already secured by the company. It does strengthen Dick's position in the wholesale sneaker market. The risk remain, though, for Foot Locker's because Foot Locker continues to struggle, right? We saw their Q2 sales drop 2.4%. They posted a $38 million loss. They're not profitable. So the street worried about that and how that's going to affect the balance sheet of the company. Post-merger, though, Joey, Dick's will become the number one seller of athletic footwear in the good old USA.
Ooh, I've never honestly been into a Dick's Sporting Good, and my travels into
it's like Sports Check.
Yeah, it's like a Sports Check. Yeah. And even in my travels to the States, I didn't see any, so I didn't get to take. Nor was I really looking for them, I guess, at the same time. But as for DKS. Let's take a look at this name from a daily standpoint. Not too, this is consolidated, right? Yeah, pretty consolidative. But if we zoom out and head to the weekly, that's what you want to see, right? When you're an owner of a company, this is consistent, steady appreciation in the stock price. So this looks really, really good. Wow, no way. So yeah, that's a big time return. 1,600%. From the March lows, that's COVID of 2020. So that's a really positive return right there, guys. There's your 10-bagger. The go TQs. Yeah, sorry. And I'm also super focused on what we had going my trade here because I was going mad heavy on that one because I was frustrated. But as for Dick's from a technical standpoint, maybe you get a breakout. And if you do break through this consolidation phase, Sharif, I think you'll see some continuous appreciation in that name.
Adara, are you concerned about the acquisition of Foot Locker? Does a company who's not profitable stand to hurt a company who is?
I mean, I don't really think so. Like, companies acquire companies all the time. Usually the reaction happens right away. And as Neil said, at this point, it's very likely priced in. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't feel too strongly about this report either way. I think in that space, Nike, maybe keep an eye on, too. We know Nike just, in, I guess, very different news, but in the same space, Nike announced that roughly 1% corporate workforce reduction, which is, again, very small, but the stock did initially pop a little bit on that. But yeah, I mean, I think that the integration strategy is going to be interesting. And yeah, I wondered here too, if they're acquiring Foot Locker, and I haven't read much about the issue, but I wonder if they either take over, I don't know, do you still have individual Foot Locker stores? Because I find Foot Locker one of the most frustrating shopping experiences ever. So if they can find a way to make it less confusing, and I've only been in there once and I just wanted to cry and leave and go home. I did not like it.
Hold on, I need an explanation.
Well, no, okay, so I go in, I'm just trying to buy a gift card for a Secret Santa at my workplace. I was, 2019. And so I go in and I'm at the counter, I'm waiting in line. And the line is really unclear where the line is. Nobody's helping me. It's a fairly empty Foot Locker. And there's all of them walking around their little jerseys. And I'm like, someone cuts in front of me in line. I'm like, I didn't even know that. What are you doing? I was just I literally want to go home. And I had to buy this specific thing at Foot Locker because the girl wanted a Foot Locker thing. And I was like, so anyways, very obviously a first world problem. But, and I'm going to be fully honest about that. But hey, I do think making your shopper's experience a positive one
for sure
should be the goal of a retail establishment. As someone who was a salesperson in retail for 6 years, so we'll see how that goes. I did not realize how strong my opinions were on that, but that's all fair. I really have to say on this report.
No, it's fair. I respect that, but here's the deal. Here's kind of how I feel about this. I like this move because we're seeing Nike, we're seeing other clothing and shoe companies as well say, Maybe this direct-to-consumer focus that we were super gung-ho about after the pandemic, maybe that's not the end-all and be-all that we thought it was. So I feel there may be a push back into that three-wall format. Let me get my products in retail outlets where people can see them, touch them, try them, right?
Start paying vendors.
Start paying vendors, right? Obviously, Joey, that eats into margins because DTC, you have more margins on, so we got to take that into consideration. But quite frankly, you know, let's just call a spade a spade. A lot of people go to the mall on Saturday because they got nothing else to do. And you want the product there for people to see, right? Because free ads. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I agree with you on that front, right? I think the more eyes or the more hands and eyes that you have on your product, the more chance that you have to sell them. Yeah, that can compress your margins, but if you're selling more product, that's better for because you don't want to be.
There you go.
I remember when Nike had the issue, they just had too much inventory. Just way too much inventory.
Markdowns.
Exactly. So even when you have, in that case, as you were just about to mention, markdowns cut into your what? Your margins at the end of the day. So yeah.
All right, let's talk about another company who's, there's a whole lot of cutting here. Not in the margins, maybe. Well, maybe there is, but there's a whole lot of year-over-year declines here. And you know I'm talking about Tesla, especially in Europe. So let's get right down to it. Tesla's European new car registrations fell 40% year-over-year in July, down to 8,837 units, marking the automaker's 7th consecutive month of declines on the continent. The drop comes despite overall battery electric car sales actually increasing in Europe. The challenge includes obviously the brand damage because of Elon Musk and his rhetoric and his ties initially with Donald Trump. Plus, let's just be honest about it, the aging lineup, man. The Model X and Model Y, they're great cars, but they've been around for over a decade in the case of the Model S anyway. Sure, there were refreshes to the Model Y, the Juniper, and the Model 3, but hey, the Model S and the Model X also require redesign. But the real story here is this. BY frickin' D. Chinese EV maker BYD saw 13,503 registrations in Europe just in July. A massive, already massive, 225% annual increase. We'll pause for a second and we're going to Adara.
The auction here, keep an eye on the market. 7-year auction, 3.922% high yield prior to the auction. The high yield at the auction comes out at 3.925%, so more or less in line with what that previous print was for the auction. So I just want to let you guys know in case you watch these auctions, and back to you.
To say BYD is aggressively expanding in Europe, as has been their intentions all along. You'll recall that Europeans tried to keep them out. Right? They said, let me assess each individual Chinese electric vehicle maker on a case-by-case basis. And they gave BYD the lowest tariff rate. And the assessment was made on how much subsidy each and every company, Chinese company, was getting from the Chinese regulator. You could argue with the assessment made by the Europeans, but that's the structure that they chose. BYD, even with that tariff, even with that competitive disadvantage, are still absolutely killing it. We talked about that earlier on the show. Chinese brands overall reached a record 5% of market share in the first half of Europe in this year. That's a record for them. Tesla's broader struggles, though, are well noted, well documented. Investors are waiting for Tesla's planned affordable EV, whether you want to call it the Model 2 or the Model Q or whatever. He's supposed to pick up with volume production for this model in the second half of the year. Joseph, we're almost at the end of the freaking year, bro.
Yeah. It's not happening. It's not happening.
When is this going to happen, bro?
It's not happening. It's that simple, right? We all know he's optimistic with his timelines, maybe too optimistic. I'm the type of individual I'd rather tell you a later date and then allow it to come early, right? That's going to add surprise into the market. The worst case scenario for Elon and company right now would be as if BYD starts taking share in Norway. And then that's it.
That's a silver lining. No, that's the truth.
In all seriousness, if they step into Norway, Adair, we know you love Norway, and we know the Norwegians love Tesla. But if BYD starts stepping in there and taking share from obviously Tesla, then they're in big trouble. I mentioned not too long ago that registrations in California were down as well too. He's opened up a burger shop there. I don't know what that's going to do or anything along those lines, but registrations just down around the globe. It's not a good look. And I mentioned this earlier in the day. The car business is a tough business,
especially EVs, bro.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy.
This is not a surprising development, Adair. You can't say that we're surprised by the drop in European sales, but I guess the quantum here, 40%, that's big.
Yeah, it's pretty significant. I feel like every time we talk about Tesla sales, I feel the same way when we talk about China and the U.S. I feel like my story is going to be basically the same regardless. But what I'll just say here, yeah, I don't think we're getting that vehicle, that lower priced model, whatever.
No.
I mean, I am so, and I said this before, Elon Musk and empty promises. Like, we do.
Well, I don't know if they're empty, Adira. They come, but they come really late.
Well, yeah, but yeah, and the timeline at least is the promise,
Yes.
and that's been at
Fair.
this point already missed.
Fair.
When it comes to this model, because he said they're going to be in production by early this year. Clearly, that hasn't happened, and as you've said, we have the drones in Texas.
I was just about to bring that up.
And they would
I was
know.
just about to bring that up.
So
Where are the pictures, Adira? Where are the videos?
It's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
Is he
want
that
receipts.
good at hiding it now? I don't buy that.
no, they're not.
Yeah.
I want receipts, and I also like what did you say, sorry, Joe, about Tesla or Elon in the California burger business?
Yeah. He opened up a burger joint in.
No,
Yeah.
stop that.
Yeah.
Hold on, you don't know there's a Tesla driving in the middle of
Okay,
LA?
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
okay, I thought that was a
you
different
knew about
restaurant.
that.
Okay, I thought
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
a different restaurant.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I don't know. This man is doing the most, and I
Would you
don't
try
know
the
if it's
electric
always
sauce?
Pardon?
Adira, would you try the electric sauce?
what.
Electric sauce.
Hold on, there's a sauce called the electric
Yeah,
sauce.
that's what the
I
burger's
need
going
to
for.
try
It's
this. I'm
electric.
going to
I'm
visit
not
my
really a
sister
burger
now.
Girl, like I'm good. I'm not really down. I mean, I hope.
Adira, I know for a fact you would go just to see the Optimus.
No,
Oh,
I
I don't
wouldn't.
know about that.
I would not. I don't care that much about Optimus. I find it hilarious that they're actually trying to monetize him too with his little action figure that they have. Like Tesla loves branding, Tesla loves money, and Tesla loves promises. I would like them to keep these promises. I also want to mention too, not related to Tesla,
Yep.
but I am reading through the official lawsuit fired by Feds Cook.
And?
If there's any interesting things there, I'll let you
Good.
know. But one thing I find interesting, Donald Trump's not the only defendant here, which
Who?
shocked me. So the other defendants, and caveat, the other defendants are Fed Chair Powell and the board. Now, they are only listed as defendants to the extent that they could actually carry out Powell's order to
fair. Yeah.
Trump's order to remove her. That's the only extent to which they're defendants. But either way, I mean, I think this is pretty fascinating
covering
stuff.
the bases, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be reading through this for sure.
Oh, yeah, keep us updated.
And I'll keep you guys posted because it's pretty long.
Amazing. Thank you,
It's just a
Adira.
stint for obviously Donald to undermine the Fed, in my opinion, right?
Look. Do I like how Donald's intervening in the Fed? No, I don't. I think one of the cornerstones of the Western democratic system is the independence of the central bank. But does that, alleviate Lisa Cook of responsibility if she did commit
I
a
think
criminal offense? No.
Yeah, but I think he played it smart, right? At the end of the day, if you look at the other side of the coin, he essentially tried to go for a weaker link and then find something wrong, and then now that's how he's going to try to undermine the Fed, in my opinion. Right? Because she's a Dem, isn't she?
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, did you expect any different? You had 4 years of lawfare one way. You didn't think you were going to get 4 years of lawfare the other way?
And he's just doing everything he possibly can. He's using all the cards that he possibly. But Sharif, take a look at this one here.
Go, Joey. Go ahead.
Look at Apple go.
Yeah.
Wow, 239.98, so we're at 233 roughly. And surprisingly not, I'm still having the ability to hold on to this Q's trade. I'm surprised it hasn't ripped anymore. So once Apple starts to cool down, maybe we can get a break through that support system. And the ultimate goal is going to be VWAP, but I don't stand much of a chance, especially with Apple continuing to climb higher.
All right, Joey, guess what, baby? In Africa, a new generation of leaders is rising. The woman boss empowers them. We provide the training and mentorship women and girls need to start businesses, create change, and build sustainable futures. We've already impacted over 10,000 lives. Your contribution here, guys, creates the next opportunity. Please scan the QR code now. Empower that next woman leader today. Let's go on to the next. Shout out to Paul, man. Shout out to Paul Anthony. Yeah. Let's go on to the next topic over here. Best Buy, Q2 earnings. They beat on the results, but that guide is a little disappointing. Let's talk about it. So they did beat on EPS, coming in at $1.28. The street wanted $1.21, on revenue of $9.44 billion. Again, a beat there. The street was looking for 9.23, beat on the top and bottom line. And the strongest in 3 years as well, guys. Their same-store sales came in at 1.6% bump year over year. Stores that have been open up a year or longer, well ahead of the estimates the street was looking for. They were looking for a 0.5% bump on same-store sales. Their guidance, though, as we mentioned, a little light. They reiterated their full-year guidance instead of raising it. As you know, we've talked about many times, you really need to raise and raise nicely here to catch investors' attention. They still expect full-year revenue to come in, guys, at $41.1 billion up to $41.9, and adjusted EPS for the full year to come in at between $6.15 to $6.30. The street wanted $6.16 and $41.4 billion. So the midpoint there is kind of where the miss was. Shares slipped initially anyway in pre-market trading on concerns over tariff uncertainty and the muted outlook. Let's talk about the business drivers. The CEO, Corey Berry, credited the strong quarter to new technology innovation and the omni-channel strategy that they've been employing now, as well as partnerships with vendors. Joey, they say they expect Q3 same-store sales to grow at a similar pace to Q2, which was, as I recall, about 1.6%, so not a bad look there. Analysts were actually forecasting same-store sales to be flat. So retail, at least, brick and mortar, picking up at least for Best Buy.
No, that's good. That's good, right? That's something that you want to see. Obviously, we know what happened to the likes of Future Shop. I don't know, was it Future Shop American?
It was Canadian.
Was it Canadian? Best Buy bought it. Best Buy bought it out, so we've seen that shift. But, I mean, again, positive, a lot being driven by some of this tech boom, in my opinion, right? Because we're just continually the innovation. And I think that's really big for Best Buy. And I like the point that Neil and Sean made is that, you can shop on Amazon, but sometimes you need to go and see the physical product yourself. And I think that's the case in which Best Buy is good as Best Buy.
Yeah, man. I like if I'm not just giving any example out there. If I want to buy an iPad, if the bigger model, the one that I got, the 12.9, I never actually seen it in person. Like, I want to see what it looks like.
I want to see what's going on. Yeah, exactly. Who has it.
So all that kind of stuff, like the in-person use, I think that there's a benefit to that.
Absolutely. Now, as from a technical standpoint, it's a little bit tougher of a hold, right? Again, a lot of sideways price action. I'm not too sure if they offer a dividend or anything along those lines. It'd be best if they do.
They pay 5%. Shout out to Roger.
So that's not bad. So good. Pay 5% dividend. So there you go. Way to bring that up. That was obviously good timing. But that's good. If you're going to hold on to these names, you're not going to get the same capital appreciation, I guess, in a retail space, considering they do offer that type of a dividend.
Go ahead, Adara.
Talk about Best Buy here too. I don't have too much to say, but we'll talk about Rivian as well. RIVN popping up. There's some speculation on X that the company is looking to enter the robotaxi space. Does speculation as far as I can see. If there's any update on this, I'll let you know. But I also hear, I want to let you guys know, Caroline Levitt just started her press conference. I put that headline on the screen, so you may have seen that. But right now, not talking about anything market related here. With regards to Best Buy, I mean, honestly, I don't feel that strongly about any of these, retail type names, truthfully. BBY, I will say, though, is I like what they're doing with the airports. They've got those little, kiosks at the airports. I actually think that's, not a bad way.
High margin products, too, Adara. Those are way more expensive than they typically would be. High margin.
Right, so I really like that. I go there sometimes. I think they're okay. I think the staff is fine. I mean, honestly, it's hard for me to have opinions on these retail names and not filter it through my own retail experience. So for me, customer service is always going to matter. I think other than that weird little geek squad they do, the knockoff Genius Bar, I think Best Buy is fine. And I think they have good deals. I think I would like to see these numbers closer to Black Friday because we know that's usually when companies like this will have the best discounts and maybe get some more sales. But it's hard. I can't imagine if this would be a good quarter for Best Buy anyway. I think that September to
Exactly.
Yeah, I think September quarter with back to school, and then Q3 and Q4, back to school, Black Friday, and Boxing Day. I think those should be the best quarters for this. And I don't know if any of that was helpful, but that's my take on Best Buy.
And the market's wise to that. These are cyclical things. Adara, Christmas comes every year, back to school comes every year. 100%. So the market's already placing that in. Well said. Couldn't agree more on that.
Derek brought up the point on the kiosks, and what I was going to bring up is that the Best Buy Expresses, right? So the miniature stores, I really enjoy those as well too. So they kind of have the higher margin products within there. And so my pitch was, how come Liberty Village doesn't have a Best Buy Express?
Because it's downtown and the square footage is insane.
It's insane.
Express.
Right? The Express ones are the smaller stores. So they're not the full-on retail store.
Right.
But yeah, but brother, I'm in LV, right? Yeah, there should be one. So I was thinking, hey, what is it going to cost me to open up one of these stores here?
No, you guys both bring up good points. Let's go on to the next story, though, guys. Snowflake. Snow was a big mover, at least when I was looking at it. Let's see where Snow's at right now. SNOW, where are we at, baby? We're 20 and 3/4, 20 and 2/3. Okay, so this report was quite good, very well received. Revenue, $1.14 billion, up 31.8% year over year, and easily beating the 1.09 expected by the street by 5.5%. Check on the top line. How about that bottom line? EPS, 35 pennies versus the 18 pennies expected by the street, and up 94.4% year over year, again beating consensus estimates. 35 penny EPS was what they printed versus the 18 last year. The street was expecting 26 correction. So they beat by 34.5%. versus the street's expectations. Their key business metric, RPO, I joked about this, run pass option. I can't wait for football to start. Remaining performance obligations, $6.9 billion versus the $6.84 expected by the street. A modest beat there with their large customers, meaning customers spending over $1 million in a 12-month product revenue. They have 654 of those. The street was looking for 634, so a beat there. Their product revenue as well, coming in at 1.09 ahead of the 1.04 expected by the street, and their professional services revenue $54.5 million versus the $45.82 expected. So fantastic look there. We can go through their profitability metrics, Joey, but I'll just point out one that was slightly worse. The GAAP professional service gross loss, that came in at minus $15 million. The street was looking for minus 13.38. Otherwise, I have nothing bad to say.
No, not at all. And Sharif, I've said this multiple times, is that as long as these hyperscalers continue to spend, cloud is going to be at the forefront as well too, and you're going to see companies like, even though it's not the biggest name, Snowflake is going to do well. And I think again, capex, heavy capex. It's great for these cloud names, in my opinion.
All right, Adira, I'm looking at the spread here. Looks like it's not that wide, so I'm assuming you don't trade this often.
I did okay in this. I was a little over flat. It is spready sometimes, and I had some shorts on it. But I actually want to say one thing before I get into Snowflake, or the earnings report. So with the spready tickers, I've noticed, because I get a lot of comments about, oh, I'm a bit short biased, and I don't do that intentionally. I've realized today with some stuff, mostly with CrowdStrike, that I think the slippage is actually worse when you get stopped out of a long than it is when you get stopped out of a short. So that, I don't know, spready ticker, food for thought for people who trade spread. I think it's something to be very aware of. Now, with regards to Snowflake, I think this is a great look on the chart. This is over 3-year highs. That's significant. I mean, yeah, in terms of the numbers themselves, I think this is probably one of the few reports that last night that I think was pretty cut and dried. It did what we were expecting it to do, did better than we were expecting, and it's in some hotter sectors. It's kind of in that, I guess, software space, the cybersecurity space. Plus, it already had the benefit of doing decently the day prior on Wednesday due to double duty sympathy plays with MDB and Okta, right? I think, a couple different reasons. I think Snowflake was poised to push higher. I'm shocked, though. I was just noticing this, too, between Snowflake, MDB, and CrowdStrike. The reversions on these earnings gap ups are really not what they were earlier in the seasons. The name earlier in the seasons, we noticed they gap up and sell off. That's not happening anymore. So these late season names could be pretty interesting. And I think that's maybe a pattern to watch for traders, for these names that gap up maybe tomorrow or even next week when we get names like Lulu and Broadcom. Yeah, and it's nice to see these mid-cap names participating, not all large caps. So as you mentioned, we were bumping up, selling off. Now it's being bought up because more
wider distribution, wider participation. Good point there, Adair. Thank you.
Go ahead, Joseph. One last thing on Snowflake. Add to Adair's point, you get this gap and go play essentially from a daily standpoint. You open up at 220 there, and then you're just climbing all the way up to 242. And I'm pretty sure you've exceeded. Yeah, so you've exceeded that previous high. Is that the previous all-time high there on Snowflake?
I think she said 3-year high. So,
yeah. Is it a 3? It is. It is, right? So there it is, 427. Not too good of a look. Shout out to the highway.
Yeah, well, you know, the COVID, again, right? I mean, some companies are ahead of their COVID highs. Some may never see those COVID highs again, right? Let's talk about this. This is an interesting one here. So Google and Fox coming to terms. They strike a short-term extension on their YouTube TV debacle. Let's talk about it. We brought it to you yesterday. We got more information on it today. So Google and Fox have agreed to a short-term extension preventing the Fox channels from being removed from YouTube TV. Google did not disclose how long that extension is going to be for, but it did emphasize it's working towards what they called a fair deal for subscribers. So what's the beef and what's at stake? So the timing is critical because Fox is airing the highly anticipated Texas and Ohio State college football game this weekend, featuring, yes, you guessed it, Archie Manning's first marquee start. Fox also holds the right to major sports. We're talking NFL games starting on the 7th, MLB playoff coverage. They got the freaking World Series as well. So you don't want to lose Fox, because if you lose Fox, for YouTube, obviously, well, then you lose all those games and you may get cancellation. So they were definitely not looking for that. The dispute was over the fees, Joseph Options, and here's what happened. Google claims Fox is demanding and continues to demand higher fees than comparable broadcasters, which it views as unfair. Yeah, Google's viewing things as unfair. I love that. Fox has a bargaining chip here, and the bargaining chip, Assassino, is they've got a strong sports lineup, which gives it leverage with advertisers and fans placing pressure on Google to secure that deal. YouTube TV currently has about 9.4 million subs, and Google is offering a $10 credit to those 9.4 million subs if Fox goes offline. And here, FCC Chair Brendan Carr publicly urged Google to reach a deal, citing a potential for a blackout as a terrible outcome for millions of viewers. I can't disagree with him, but I find it like the tea or the pot, you know, calling whatever. You know what I mean.
The pot calling the kettle black.
There you
at
go.
The end of the
Thank
day.
you.
Yeah, I agree with you on that front. Well, I'm bad at those. Sharif, we know what's going on with all these TV deals. Right now, it seems to be you need to keep a hold of your sports deals as much as possible. ESPN striking new deals with the NBA. We got Paramount signing up with the UFC and company.
Because they'll run to Netflix,
They'll run somewhere else. So essentially, it might be in some of these broadcast. The ball might be in their court because they have so many different streaming options to get involved with. So you better pay up what you want. Otherwise, as Sharif just mentioned, you're going to lose a large amount of customers.
I would have to, said, dude. That's an excellent analysis because, you know, Netflix dying to get their hands on more sports. We've seen that.
Sports. And I'm pretty sure Fox has most of the Monday night games.
Well, we just showed you. Here's what they got, Joey. They got the NFL games. They got the college football game. They got the MLB playoff coverage. They got the World Series. At least in the short term, they got it.
You need to lock that in. Yeah. You need to lock that in because obviously money's in the sports right now.
Yeah. Adara, this deal here probably wouldn't have hurt Google as much as it would have hurt Fox if it had not gone through. Do you agree? So, I mean, Google is huge. Fox is not. They're big, but they're not Google. If this deal had not gone through, who gets hurt more, Google or Fox?
I mean, Fox, I think, is going to be hurt because it's a smaller entity, right? I think you're going to get more hurt in general. But I do think, I mean, with regards to the Google situation and having things on YouTube, I'm going to be honest, I don't have a huge breadth of knowledge when it comes to the sports. But I think in general, there are a lot of shows, programs, whatever that do have, you'll be housed at other locations too. You'll have the streaming access, whatever. But they also have their entire content available on YouTube. So I don't know if that's a bad thing. I think if there's a way that Fox can, make it favorable to themselves, I think that's a better situation for viewers who are able to watch, these programs on YouTube if they can't afford maybe these streaming services. They don't have access to the streaming service. Off the top of my head, Degrassi has done this historically. I think almost the entire catalog of Degrassi, and that's a 20-year catalog is available on YouTube. A lot of other shows as well. Right, so I'm saying, I don't mean illegitimately either. I mean the official channel uploading them, right? So I actually think that it's a little bit harder for sports, right? Because you have different entities. And again, my lack of sports knowledge is being reflected here. But I think, I don't know. I think there's got to be.
No, I think you're bringing a really good point. But I think there may be more demand for Degrassi reruns than maybe for previous game reruns. I don't know that to be a fact. I don't have the data.
Probably more, maybe game reruns more than Degrassi. I don't know, but yeah.
All right, let's go on. Thank you, Adara.
Sorry, I have news too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cal Main on watch. The CDC saying that there was a salmonella outbreak linked to recalled eggs. CALM Bloomberg.
Thank you, Adara. All right, let's go on to Li Auto. They reported a sharp drop in sales amid rising competition. So just to give you an idea, Li Auto, one of the electric vehicle makers out of China, but they don't specifically only make BEVs. They have these hybrid style cars. They're not strictly hybrid like we know them in North America. The onboard gas engine recharges the battery, does not propel the car. That's all you need to know about that. Let's talk now about how they did. Q2 net profit came in at 1.09 billion yuan, which is about $152.5 million, which is down 0.9% year over year and missing the consensus estimate of 1.32 billion yuan, right? Revenue dropped as well. 4.5% year over year, below the analyst forecast as well. 33.04 billion. They printed 30.25. A miss everywhere. Their total deliveries, they sent 111,000 cars, a little over, missing the guidance of 123 to 128. Man, they missed everywhere on Li Auto today. Gross margins, they improved a little bit, up from 19.5 in the previous quarter, now up to 20.1, supported by lower costs. Their vehicle margin rose to 19.4%, reflecting, the efficiency push. And they did launch new models like the Li i8, which is a 6-seater full EV SUV platform. They have two of those. The I think it's called the MPV or something like that, the Mega, the Li Mega. And then this i8. Those are really the only two pure EV plays that Li Auto has. Do you have anything you want to say, or should I go on?
Other than Apple and Google are just absolutely ripping, and I had to get out of that break even. So I still had 50% of the position from up here, and then sure enough, it just came right back up. Sorry.
No worries, Joey. We've got an update on the market, right? Their guidance for sales. Let's talk about that. Q3 delivery forecast. They're guiding less than they delivered in this quarter. 90 to 95,000 units, down from Q2 levels, as I mentioned, with revenue projected to come in at about 24.8 to 26.2 billion yuan, which is down 39 to 42% year over year. Li Auto, get your act together. This is ridiculous. Competitive pressures, obviously facing pressures from the revamped Model Y. Now, if you don't know, there's a special Model Y in China. It's bigger. It's got 6 seats. It's much bigger than the Model Y we have here. That's competing with it. They also got Xiaomi's SU7, which everybody freaking loves. Both strong players in the EV and the plug-in hybrid SUV space. Li Auto, Joseph, also prepping to launch the i6 battery SUV next month in September, aiming to defend that market share. And defended they better, because this looks bad.
It's tough, man. Again, we're going right back into the car business, and it's not it's not an easy space to operate in. And if you look at this name from a technical standpoint, you just have this range that you've been trading in, this $13 range, and we've had this marked out. You climb a little bit higher, but then you just sell off quite a bit here, and then now you just head right back into support. So again, that's exactly where I stand. The car business is not easy, and if you don't have the product that everybody wants, you see what's happening in the likes of Tesla, and then sure enough, Li Auto.
Adara, sorry to interrupt. What's your look on this? I mean, Li Auto is not one that we trade anymore. I'm not invested in, so people really, we're talking a lot less about Li Auto, and that's probably rightfully so, because these numbers don't look good.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say RIP to your love of Li Auto, because that was at one point a thing. Remember, there were bets on it. There was a pineapple pizza bet on it, but all that aside, I mean, honestly, Sharif, I don't have much to say. The report was bad. Things were bad. Guidance was bad. Things do not look good. The stock weirdly gapped up. I don't have...
What?
This is not something I can... Or not gapped up, sorry, but it rallied at the open. Oh. So it's something that I have a hard time comprehending this action, and I can't really reconcile it. I mean, like, I'll put it this way. Sorry, we didn't gap up. We pushed up and open, but Sharif, like, we're above yesterday's closing price. We are green on the day. So I find this a bit unfathomable, and I'm not going to try to fathom things that are not fathomable. I'm going to stop saying fathom now, but it's also worth noting Caroline Levitt taking questions right now at this press conference. She has been for a while. Nothing's really market related here, and I've still been reading through this Lisa's, I almost said Lisa Sue, the Lisa Cook suit. with regards to the
Anything
Trump
new on that?
removal. And so here's what's pretty interesting. She's making, or I guess her lawyer is making a decent case here that, so A, they're saying for cause in this context is usually related, again, to conduct at the workplace within the context of work. And then they also said that the only case where they've really seen historically where there's been some removal of an appointed body like this is apparently the FTC had some situation where the removal was upheld, but with the FTC, apparently it was a for-cause issue specifically related maybe, I didn't read the whole ruling obviously, but it had to do with bias and being a bit more biased at work. So that's obviously not what's happening here. Like we don't have any issues with partiality. We don't have any issues with independence, at least on the part of Lisa Cook. So she might have a case here. I'm still reading through it though.
Yeah, what's interesting to me about that, and I haven't had an opportunity to read it, is the nature of the allegation. It is an allegation of dishonesty. Fraud is a crime of dishonesty. So not talking or making comments about the veracity of the claim, that still has to be proven, Adara. As you've mentioned, we haven't seen any of the documents, but it does call into question her legitimacy and her honesty if these things are true. So typically in these cases, you suspend somebody pending the investigation. I don't think an outright removal possibly could be warranted here until more is seen, right? We're gonna have to let the judicial process take part, and whatever happens, happens. But you could make an argument, you get into a street fight because it had one too many, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with your job or something like that. But if you're, anyway, we'll see. Thank you for reporting on that, and can't wait to see exactly how that all comes out. Let's go on to the next story, Joseph. The CDC leadership sparks crisis. What happened? The White House has announced it fired CDC Director Susan Moneres after she refused to resign, citing misalignment with the president's agenda. Moneres was Moneres was sworn in July 31st, and she was the first Senate-confirmed CDC director under the new law passed during the pandemic. Her attorney, for her part, disputes the firing, stating she refused to resign because she would not rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives. That is a quote from her lawyer. At least 4 other top CDC officials have resigned Wednesday. They include Deborah Huri, Dimitri Daskalkis, Daniel Jennifer Layden. All right, so 4 others have resigned. Resignation letters cited concerns over budget cuts, misinformation, political interference, but we really know that this really comes down to this whole vaccine issue. In fact, there was today the CDC allowed a new vaccine for COVID to get sold in the United States, but they very much restricted who was eligible, who could take it. So another kind of, tit for tat exchange between the two different sides here, Joseph. So the CDC resignations highlight a broader dispute over how health policy is being influenced versus politics versus science. I want to say one thing. If you're looking at the healthcare space and how much has been shellacked lately, healthcare's, biotechs mostly, does this help it?
Probably not. Like if we take a look at XLV, that's going to be the healthcare sector. I'm going to go with the latter half, and that's going to be no, Sharif, to be honest with you. But here it is. Speaking of a slacking, you haven't even recovered off your April lows, essentially. So I can't even find it, because usually it's easy to find because you've bounced off it. But this is the case. You've just been consolidating within this range. And if you go back to September of 2024, you're down substantially still from that point. Embarrassing is right. 14%. You're still sitting down when the rest of the market is rallying. And I know a lot of investors are like, hey, maybe we can find something in the healthcare space. I don't know if that's necessarily the case right now.
More controversy, Adara, from a different regulatory body and the mix-up they've had with the administration.
Yeah, I mean, Caroline Levitt actually just mentioned this. Sorry, I'm getting excited because I hear all of this, so when I can bring it into conversation, that's always nice when you take in like hours of information. I will say, Caroline Levitt basically said that at least for one of the individuals who fired after Moneres left, she said, oh, well, this isn't something we would have wanted in the administration anyway, because they expressed, I guess, quote unquote woke ideology in their resignation letter. So, I mean, I don't know about that. We haven't seen the letter. We're hearing this from Caroline. But either way, I mean, it sounds like the Trump administration is not too pressed about these people leaving. In fact, if we're to believe what Caroline Levitt says, they're probably happy they're going. With that in mind, though, too, I think what's fascinating is like just the quick turnover here. So, A, Susan Maneras wasn't even Trump's first appointment. It was his second choice. And B, she was literally appointed less than a month before being let go. That is wild. So I want to see like this turnover. We haven't really seen it, at least at the cabinet level, which we did in the first Trump administration.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sorry to get political, but it's very honest. Like
we get political on the midday, Dara.
Right, we had tons of cabinet turnover in the first administration. We haven't had that yet. And we actually, like, he seems to really love this cabinet. If, you know, all of the, this is the best cabinet ever is to be believed. But we are seeing a lot of turnover on these levels, too. There's also the issue of, you know, Jarek Isaacman, who was Trump's initial appointee for NASA. Elon Musk liked him. And he was very qualified for the position, too. I mean, Elon knows space people. Then spaceman Jarek Isaacman actually gets... You know, he gets that nomination pulled, and then they appoint Sean Duffy, U.S. Transportation Secretary, to fill in the interim. So there's lots of turnover within, I guess, the non-cabinet executive levels. This is not super shocking, and
good
that's
point.
all. Rant over.
Yeah, no, that's a great point because we saw a lot of turnover in the first administration. You got to make the assumption he had 4 years to plan who he wanted this time around, so he's probably got a bit of a better read. But great point there, Dara. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's go on to the next story. HP reported yesterday, and they beat on. They beat on revenue, but we'll talk about that in a second. But first, I want to tell you about this. New traders, listen up. The first month, it's free. That's right. We're waiving the fees so you can trade smarter, not harder. All by upgrading to that elite experience that helps you analyze, strategize, and then hopefully, after all that, you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. And you can predict better with their backtesting tool, guys. They got reliable real-time data, global markets, literally at the tips of your fingers. It's an all-in-one platform. Do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan that QR code or check the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks at eSignal. And we're going to pause for a second and go to Adair.
Sorry, guys. Caroline Levitt just spoke about the Intel deal, saying that things are still being, quote unquote, ironed out with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Quote, the IS are still being dotted, the T's are still being crossed. So it sounds like this Intel deal is maybe not as complete as we thought it was, or at least according to Press Secretary Caroline Levitt. If I get more context on this, I'll let you know. The White House is also coming out and saying here that they're going to be continuing to fight the battle with Fed's Cook. That's coming from Levitt as well.
Very much for that, Adara. All right, guys. Yeah, let's pull up the chart here and see what we got going on. So you can see that we were initially short the TQs, boom, boom, then we get stopped out, and now I'm just getting really, really aggressive. So that's why I kind of just been focusing on what's going on here, and I'm looking at Apple just continuously climb higher, and it's driving me nuts. Because what is going on with this is an absolute buy program. What are we up on the session? About 1.7%. So and it's continuously grinding. One thing to note is that we do have this indecision print on the 1 minute chart here that I'm hoping holds up, and we have the volume supporting it as well. We haven't cracked it just yet, so I'm looking for a break of this level if we can get it. If I do get stopped out, I have to keep it tight, and it's going to be not a pretty loss, considering I just essentially at that initial short on the TQs had positivity unrealized, but then unfortunately I just got stopped out break even, looking for the continuation. It's so hard to short this market. Microsoft is starting to come back in, and it hasn't even moved the Nasdaq here, so we need Apple to kind of sell a little bit. It is extremely extended from VWAP. And then you kind of just get that rotation is once one starts selling, they rotate into another, it starts trading higher. So yeah, we'll be patient on this, but we're getting really aggressive up here. So again, first one worked. The short, how many shorts? Yeah, so I took already a short there on the TQs, got stopped out break even after the VWAP, and then here we went again, got that move, and then just came all the way back up. I was going to add, but I was being patient. I was going to wait for a liquidity grab and then potentially move, but then the volume started supporting that northeast trajectory. So yeah, a little bit tougher of a look. Break of this is going to be absolutely cash, and if VWAP is even in the picture for today, then yeah, that's going to be absolutely unreal. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. Risk is still relatively tight, so going to have to be patient. Tell me about it if I'm trading options and theta is a real. Yeah, I bet. Like it is. It's that's how it can be with options. We guys set a new record again. Did it? Is it at all-time high or something like that? I haven't even taken a look at that one there. You're good to go there?
Yes, sir, man. I got a crazy headache right now.
Yeah, same. Me too.
I don't know what's going on.
The lack of sleep, and then so.
Well, I got good sleep yesterday.
Oh, okay. SPY did put in a new all-time high today, there, Sharif.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
Another
right there,
one.
another
Katina,
one
hit it,
is
baby.
correct. So
Another
what is
one,
XLF
Katina,
up to?
Another one.
What does XLF up to? Yeah, right around that one, that neck of the woods as well too. So that's not looking too bad. Shout out to this market. It's crazy. I should just eliminate. All right. XLF, JPM. I think the financial sector is going to be hot for a while. I know, Sharif, you touched on that for some time. Going to increase margins if they move everything over onto some Ethereum blockchain. So yeah, there's definitely room to run in that trade, and maybe we'll get somewhat of a rotation from tech.
It's not every day that somebody calls JP Morgan a growth stock, Joey.
No, that's
shout out to your boy Tom Lee there.
That's insane.
You know what I mean?
That's an insane take.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next one here. HB beats on revenue as AI PC demand lifts the results. How are the report? Let's talk about it. Q3 revenue came in just shy of 14 billion, 13.93 billion in revenue, up 3% year over year, and beating the 13.7 expected by the street. Adjusted EPS came in at 75 pennies. That was in line, matching the consensus. Now, how's that guide doing? The Q4 adjusted EPS guide, they're guiding 87 to 97 pennies. That's broadly in line with the consensus of 92, the midpoint being a little bit higher. It's really AI and Windows 11 upgrade cycle that's boosting this. So in case you haven't gotten it, I've got Windows, what is this, Windows 11? Windows 10. On this PC is Windows 10. I can't tell you how many times I've been prompted to upgrade to Windows 11, but Rob told me not to upgrade, so I don't upgrade, despite the fact that I have Windows 11 at home, right? So they keep trying to push that on you. Why are they trying to push it on you? Because they're going to end the freaking support coming October for Windows 10. So there's strong demand, according to the company's report, driven by AI-powered PCs and the ongoing Windows 11 upgrade cycle. Microsoft will end Windows 10 support in October, sparking what they're saying is going to be a fresh or a sparking refreshed demand across business and consumer platforms. HP CEO reaffirmed confidence in the continued PC market momentum as the AI adoption of said PCs continues to accelerate, Joey. Their supply chain shifts, though, and tariff issues are notable. CEO confirmed HP has shifted nearly all North America-bound production out of China to Southeast Asia, Mexico, and select U.S. sites. Sounds like maybe what Apple should be doing here. The higher costs and the pricing uncertainty remain ongoing challenges for PC makers, so we'll have to watch and see whether margins get squeezed now that they're leaving China. But we know that China's not the cheapest on the block anymore. There are other places that you can go for cheaper production, cheaper costs. You know, China's more about know-how and technical skill. Segment performance here, their PC, their personal systems revenue rose 6% year over year, up to 9.93 million, driven, as I mentioned, by the AI refresh demand. And their printing segment, we all know HP makes a lot of printers, Joey, 4% year over year increase, up to $4 billion.
Yeah, tough look from a daily standpoint here on HP. HPQ right here, so 31% off of those previous highs to where we're currently trading at. That's a really, really tough look, and then we haven't recovered too much. A lot of sideways trading that we're experiencing in this name right here, Sharif.
Yeah, all right, Adira, this is interesting. Did you get the upgrade thing on your computer, or am I just the only one that keeps getting pumped with this?
I don't know. I didn't notice an upgrade.
No, eh? Well, it didn't upgrade. It keeps prompting you to upgrade, which I say no to.
Oh, I haven't seen that then either.
No, eh? Okay.
Honestly, and I don't know. I don't like upgrades. Upgrades make me nervous. I've been called a bit of a Luddite. I'm not like the best with technology. As everyone.
What version of the iPhone you have there, Dara? Tell everybody. What version of the iPhone you have there?
The iPhone?
What version is that?
SE? It has a home button.
Oh, that's the SE. Okay, I thought that was like the 8.
Oh,
okay.
I formerly had an 8. That might be where you're getting confused.
That's right.
I had the 8, and then I had the 5 until 2019. So I am like several generations behind whatever phone everybody else is on. I still have the home button. I'm playing. But no, I'm not playing. I do have the home button. But let's talk here about, I want to give you guys a little bit of a preview too for Dell, not exactly the same space as HP. As far as, I don't know tons about tech, but I think it's pretty interesting. DLL is reporting tonight. This is their annual revenue. You can see a little bit shaky. and they just rejoined the index as of less than a year ago. It would have been September 2024. So by that I mean S&P 500. So yeah, I mean, I think Dell could be interesting. HP, I think this report honestly always gets a little bit lost at sea because it usually reports the same day as NVIDIA, right? So it's like a little bit difficult in terms of like the numbers. 3% year-over-year growth isn't huge, but this isn't like, usually viewed as a growth company.
Right.
I think, printing segment revenue falling, I feel like I usually associate HP maybe more with printers, so that might be a concern. Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of a wishy-washy report, and I feel pretty wishy-washy about the whole thing.
Yeah, it feels like very like 1990, I don't know, man. HP to me is, I know they're getting in the AI servers business, but I didn't even see any information on AI servers there with HP. So let's go on to the next and the last story. Google bets big on their AI data center and the cloud momentum. So what happened here? So Google announced a $1 billion investment in Virginia data centers. A lot of these data centers seem to be around there, right? Reinforcing its AI and cloud ambitions. We know that. The new centers will be located in Loudoun? I don't know, man. Sorry. And Prince William counties expanding their AI workloads and supporting regional economic development. We know that they're committing $1.5 million to AI training initiatives in Virginia, aiming to skill workforce readiness. So it's nice to see that they're investing in people, not just products. The funding includes programs at the University of Virginia, Brightpoint Community College, Virginia Tech, and et cetera. But we know that there's more to this, right? So Google Cloud struck a $10 billion deal, partnership, I should say, with Meta supporting AI model and research. Meta trying to get their hands on as much cloud compute as they can get to expand aggressively. They also announced a partnership with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, which will help enable customers run workloads across both platforms. And how Google Cloud did on revenue last time, Joey, about $10.3 billion, up 28% year over year, which beat the estimate.
Yeah, and then also they struck this deal with some company there for a bunch of billions of dollars right there. So that was another positive thing, and that's what I'm talking about. These hyperscalers are just spending cash, and then in the likes of Google striking new cloud deals. So you have the big three, obviously, with Azure, AWS, and then Google Cloud, putting in a new high of the day today.
New.
And then Apple's just living in its own world as well, too, Sharif. It's just continuously climbing higher. So a good look here in Google. Cloud continuously growing, and I think until that CapEx starts to cool off, I'm going to expect to see the same things.
That's cap. Sorry. I had to. All right, Adair, kind of, not $1 billion is not much by Google standards, but another move here and an expansion of Google Cloud, which can't hurt the company.
Yeah, I'm going to look at this in a different light, as I find I tend to. This is a good move for Google beyond, the cloud thing, because the more money you invest in the United States, the more happy Donald is. Yeah. You want to make U.S. President Donald Trump happy. Sorry for calling him by his first name. You want to make President Trump happy, and I think Google is certainly trying to do that, trying to appease him. Now, they didn't get a press conference like Mr. Tim Apple did, with the weird Apple.
Well, you didn't bring him a gold plate, Adara.
Yeah. And they didn't bring him a plate.
You got to bring him a plate.
Yeah, no plane, no weird little Apple gold display nonsense. But yeah, I think Google either way, investing in the U.S. Oh, you got brighter, Sharif, the lighting.
Yeah, Chile Nightmare. That is killing me up here. Is that supposed to be on? Look, these ones?
It's like California glow. I kind of like it.
Do you want me this color? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, so good. I was just I thought
Go
you
ahead,
looked
Adara,
a tan in the 2 minutes since I had seen you on the screen. But yeah, I don't know. I think Google here, anything investing in the U.S., that's not going to be a bad catalyst generally, especially if it's AI. But I think especially now it becomes an even better catalyst. This stock, I think, certainly likes it, though it's probably more likely ending up with the whole market. But yeah, not a bad look for GOGL at all-time highs. And a couple catalysts today, too, along with that Fox story.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. I think the more you build in the United States, great point, Adara, the more Donald's happy. So keep building. But yeah, that is the end of the news. Thank you guys for joining us. We had a bit of a light news day today, not too much happening in the market. All right, let's take a quick look at some of these small cap gappers and see how some of them are faring. It's still the OPAD show, though, and maybe the SOGP show if this one can curl and take out that 10.5 where it's been selling for a while. But OPAD is continuing to kind of put in those higher lows despite, thank you guys. I don't want you behind me, bro. I told you I don't trust you. No, Ram.
Whoa.
Did you see that? That's not only grounds for a firing.
Yeah.
I'll file a report, bro.
Ooh, file a report, man. File that report.
I'm playing. I love Ram. OPAD, guys, continues to put in higher lows, not necessarily, though, higher highs. We're still stuck below that 1255 high there. Time, that is, below 631, but we are on our way to 6. You got to feel, though, that the real resistance level, not that 631, but rather that $6 area on OPAD. The reason I say that, not one closing print on the 5 actually closed above 6, and here we are at 6 again. So let's load this up now. We don't need to load it up. I think it should already be on there. OPAD, there it is. Let's watch as we dance with 6. Seller of note here, a staunchy little bugger at $6, about a few hundred lots from what we can see on the gateway, but it's always what we can't see that gets us into some trouble, possibly. The iceberg orders, hidden orders, Joey, as we call them, at $6 here. Nothing that surprises me. You can see that the closing prints are non-existent above that $6 area on the 5. So I'll be watching this with about 9 minutes left. Maybe we'll take a trade or two on this one if it does allow me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even really know what to say, man. This market is just continuously grinding higher, so I got to hop out of this trade. It worked a couple times, and then now we have the likes of Apple and NVDA wants to start rolling here. So, yeah, it's super annoying on what's going on. It's just like continuous grind. But anyways, enough of that whining. Just get out of it. It's nothing substantial. I am in heavy, but my risk profile is relatively tight. So, again, we'll just take the loss and just try to keep ourselves within this game here. So that's what I got going on. NVDA is starting to curl back up. I don't know. Was there any news on Apple today, or?
I was looking, brother, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that melt.
What do you mean? Is it up, brother?
Yeah.
Oh my days!
Yeah.
No, sir. I don't want it. No, I would want it to go down actually at this point. So, for now, anyways. Again, yeah, it's just really. I don't know. I'm looking at the
AMD's at 168.24.
So we'll see what this is going on. If it climbs any higher, then I'll just take the loss on what it is and just forget about trying to short this market because there's clearly no continuation in that.
All right, yeah, as we talked about yesterday, guys, when we gave you that Apple news,
Tesla.
Yeah, September 9th, guys, the Apple event, it is going to be pre-recorded, as has been the case since the beginning of the pandemic, 2020. They started doing this pre-recorded format. I don't know, Katina, man, would you like the days of Steve Jobs, like, you know, going on that stage, using the iPhone kind of situation? They're not doing it anymore, Katina, man. They're doing a pre-recorded crap. They did it last time. Well, I don't know, man. Yeah, I recently bought at 212. The Katina man bought at 212, so he's pleased as dang punch right now with Apple going into 233. We're still below those 260 area highs though. Let's bring in the Meg over here. I haven't brought in the Meg side charts in a hot minute, so forgive me. I still have my what's it called? My what are those called? Oh my God. Even forgetting, it's been so long since I've used them. In any event, there's Apple's look right there at day's highs as we speak, 233.38. But let's do a little TA, man. We're still down 6.6% on the year. Let me just move these pivot points over here because they're driving me nuts. I've got to remove them, otherwise they distort the whole chart. So we got to go edit chart parameters, studies, and then we're going to go move pivot points. There we go. So yeah, we're still down from that 260 high. I think we got into barely 260. That was in late December. That was before all the tariff talk, right? So we're still down 9% there. We're down 6.6% year to date if you're looking from January onward, right? But yeah, I think we're definitely breaking trend here. And what I was saying to Joseph earlier was this is where the April lows took us all the way back into the mid 160s, low 170s. And then we kept putting in higher lows, but we weren't kind of breaking through the top. You could see that staunchy 215 area acted as a level of resistance for a long time on Apple, but was keeping me interested was these area lows that were higher successively. And then we got a decisive break above that 215. That was back August 6th. Why do we have that day? Because that's when your boy, Timmy C, weaseled on over to the White House, gift in hand, gold gift in hand, if you believe the reports. And yeah, that pleased Donald very much. He gave him exemptions, both from India, both from the China tariffs on microchips and assembled iPhones. And here we go, Joseph. We're kind of bull flagging here ever since Timmy C went to the White House. There's that big breakout August 6th. Then we have that consolidative side push. Let's see if we can get above 235, maybe by mid next week, even tomorrow, and break through the top end of that bull flag. And then who knows, maybe September 9th, the market will finally like for a change what it hears from Apple, and we'll get a squeeze maybe into the 240s or so. I won't be taking anything out of Apple. I haven't taken anything out since I sold at 230. When was that? That was like last fall, right?
230 last fall.
Yeah, we sold. I remember I sold a little. I sold 20%.
Did you? All right.
Last fall, 230s before that 260 push. And I won't be selling anymore.
Oh, okay, so you sold 230s over here?
230s, yeah, it was up there. Remember? And then you were like, ha, 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 ha. You were so happy because it went to 260.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did I do that? Oh, man, what a.
That's typical Joey options.
No, stop it.
Stop playing.
Oh, I just almost got a cramp in my leg. Yeah.
Oh, MRVL. Let me just cover this, Joey.
Go ahead.
Shout out to John Del Segno. MRVL's breaking out, baby. He says, let's have a look at MRVL. Weaseling over here. You got more Marvell? Katina Man, if I asked you, how much is Marvell down on the year? Without looking, Katina Man, what's it down on the year? Katina Man, it's down 30.25% with this move today. So you're buying it in a nice area, man. So yeah, Marvell taking out high. Shout out to John. A nice little upward channel. Looks like it wants to break through 77 here, and it's about to get above the implied balance high. There's that 930 pop. The high of that 930 pop, Joey, was 76.90. We're at 76.90 right now.
Yeah, all right. I'm good. Man. I'm good now. I'm back, baby. I was. That's all I needed to take. Go there, back, and then now I'm back. Surprisingly, like. I didn't even take it, compared to what I had on there, Sharif, I didn't even take too bad of a loss, to be honest with you, so I can't get too frustrated. Still fully in this game. So,
bang.
Yeah. As for Marvell, not too bad of a look. We were going over Google. Goggles is just continuously grinding higher. It's touched, I think it's put in a new all-time high once or twice today, multiple times actually. So there it is, man, 212.11. Yeah, we rotated out of this name a long time ago. Why? I don't know. There's so many good things. It's like an ETF in itself, right? Like you're getting Waymo, they have Willow, then you have YouTube, and then you have Google Cloud. So we talk about this a lot, and if you go just back in the history of Google, it's essentially a repeat offender. It's kind of volatile at sometimes, right? But then essentially it just recovers, and it recovers significantly stronger. So there it is. Going back to our guy Tom Lee's theory, Sharif, about 1.5 times the recovery and what it takes in that bear market.
Explain that though, Joey, the V-shapes.
Yeah. So essentially what he was getting at is that almost every recovery in the market is a V-shaped recovery. You don't get too many of the rounded bottoms. And if you look at it, so approximately his theory is that if it takes you 448 days to sell from this peak to this trough, you're going to recover it in about 1.5 times, right? The amount. So that's relatively close, and you put in a new all-time high. So that's what that theory essentially stands for is that, okay, the market sells, but then within 1.5 times the amount of the selling duration, you'll see a recovery in the market, and sure enough, you see that in the Qs and in the Nasdaq quite often.
Well said, Joseph. I want to bring to your attention SOGP. It's back, baby, and it's halted up. Oh, baby, halted 11:27. The halt time exactly 1:56 on the dot, double zeros there. You can look at the time and sales always. That's the trick, and then you add 5 minutes onto that. What does the tap say? The theoretical auction price, 11.84. We're halted at 11.27, so we already have a very aggressive buy-side imbalance, and we're only about 3.2 million shares from 100 million shares traded on the day. What is the flow to this piece? You know what? Probably we're at several times float rotation right now. This is okay, I don't have
Sharif, hold on, our boys here.
Who?
Guess who?
Nimrod. Oh, I see all the memberships. I know exactly it's Nimrod.
Oh, brother.
This guy's killing it, man.
Yeah, that's insane, man. Insane. Good stuff there, Sider.
Shout out to Nimwood, man. We miss you,
Yeah.
brother. I know he's coming back.
Is he coming back?
Yeah, he's coming back in October,
No
bro.
way.
Of course
my
he is,
brother,
man.
you better hop on that bike. Because you know what happened last time we were riding the bike.
Oh,
my
I
friend.
heard about that, man. I heard you were.
Yeah, he has been very. And then I'm just walking. He's like, "You're not even breathing." I'm like, "I know, brother. This is what we do around here, man." No, that was a great time. Gave him a. He said he wanted to do something Canadian. So I'm like, all right, let's ride a bike from point A to point B and see how we can do with that.
Yeah, not skiing or
No,
snowboarding or
it's not
anything like that, or hockey. That's not Canadian at all.
So
No.
I don't even know if biking's really Canadian. So that was the
Well,
most,
it's very much Toronto now.
Yeah, it's
you know,
Toronto.
like,
Well, yeah, come on. don't
Bike
give me
lanes
the fail
everywhere,
there,
bro.
brother.
Your boy Dougie's angry about that, though.
Yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
taking
like it.
some of them down.
He's trying. They keep
Yeah.
blocking him in the
Yeah,
courts.
do they? Yeah.
He's going to use the notwithstanding clause. Just watch.
Listen. Some streets I like them.
So do
right?
I.
I
So do
like them.
I.
I love using.
Put them on the
bike
side
lane.
streets. Why do they have to be on all the
don't-
main arteries, bro?
Well, I think that's where they should be. I'm
right.
by no means
You're
am
a
I
driver,
a bike
bro.
advocate. Hey, I'm a driver
Get it,
of all
Adara.
vehicles.
Cyclists are the most homicidal people on the streets of Toronto, and I stand by the legal times, and I almost
And she's not even a driver. You don't even drive, so you don't even have that bias.
Look what Nimrod said. Bro, try to.
car. Oh no, my mic's on.
Okay, so Adara was trying to say, I don't want to repeat, but she's like, cyclists are the most homicidal people in the city of Toronto, and I was saying she doesn't have a bias because she doesn't drive a car. If you drive a car, you might have a little bit of a bias. But anyway, Joey, thank you. Nimrod, we miss you, bro.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing
Can't wait
very
till you
well.
come back in
Thank you for the
October.
memberships. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everybody in the chat for joining Joseph and I on the afternoon rundown, and for joining
I'm confused when
afternoon rundown
it's-
on the midday show, and for joining Adara, Joseph, and I on the news. We're going to send it over to the big boys. You already got Neil long the Zon, and Katina Man is long the advanced money duplicator. Get it, boys.
Duplication. Apparently, we got no mics.
Oh.
Yeah.
On.
It's been duplicating money